Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto became the Death Emperor, and Mito, Tsunade, Kushina, Mei and Yugito became his immortal harem, part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Young Naruto Uzumaki, he was known as well, the village knucklehead or idiot many would call him. But yet here and now he lay there on the ground. Looking over him was Tsunade Senju, who was best known for being the granddaughter of the first Hokage and also the Slug Princess and Legacy Sucker. Naruto was given a mission to accompany Jiraiya, one of the third Hokage's former students and also known as Jiraiya the Great or the Toad Sage Jiraiya. Naruto gave his life to save Tsunade from being struck down by Kabuto and his master Orochimaru. Naruto was told the future of the village's fate lies within the rude and mean old beautiful woman, although he never warmed up to her. Naruto still gave his life to protect Tsunade from harm. Dark. Why is it getting dark? I hate the dark, it seems the kid screw up, and now I'm paying for it. Naruto inner demon aka the Kyuubi, the nine-tailed fox whom was sealed inside his soul for 12 years. No, it can't be. No, not him, not again, no. Tsunade cried, tears fall down her face. It seems Naruto-kun wasn't able to survive, what a pity. Orochimaru chuckled watching Tsunade try healing Naruto wounds, but Kabuto got Naruto at the heart. The boy heart was slowly stopped, the beat of heart he dead slowly, his heart would soon stop, but before that Naruto looked up at Tsunade and smile at her, he spoke his final words. Don't give up, Ba-chan, you can win this without me. I'm just gonna kept some Z's, so don't cry, and do me one last favor, will ya? The dying ninja asked. What is it, Naruto-kun? She asked, hoping to make his last wish come true. Don't die. The people of Leaf needs you, Ba-chan, and tell Sakura I love her, and tell Sasuke I don't really hate him, and tell everyone else I'm sorry. Goodbye, Ba-chan. I'll be back stronger than ever, I promise. Naruto spoke his last word as he died with a smile on his face. Yes, I will, Naruto-kun. Tsunade smile as Orochimaru and Kabuto escape. Jiraiya and Shizune soon recover, walking over to Tsunade, who was carrying Naruto in her arms. It would be right for him to be burying with them, she said as Jiraiya nodded. A fine Hokage that could have turned out to be, maybe in the next life, kid. See ya around, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's soul left his body, his soul fell down through the earth, falling down deeper he fell, going downward into the unknown. You cannot die. I won't allow it. Naruto heard the Nine Tails voice. Naruto opened his eyes as he felt a warm light touching his body. Naruto felt this warm feeling. Naruto felt someone's hand touched his right cheek. The person's hand was soft and warm. Wake up. A woman's voice spoke. Naruto shot open his eyes. The first thing he sees is a large black tree above him. Naruto slowly got up from the ground. Naruto looked at himself and see he was different. The color of his skin and colors was different. All were colored light green. Naruto wasn't sure what was going on. But the last thing he remembers was his heartbeat stopped. Was this the afterlife? He wasn't sure, it didn't feel like the afterlife. Naruto stared at the giant black tree. There was something about this tree that felt off. He felt it. Naruto stared at the black tree again. He felt nothing but hollow from the tree. However, a voice spoke that caught Naruto's attention. The tree of death, it is often rare a soul appears before it after their deaths. You must be a special soul. Naruto turned around to see a person standing there. Much like Naruto, the person was green from head to toe. The person was a man wearing a cloak hood hiding his face. Naruto could see barely view of his face. The person had an undead look. His eyes were light green and his face was half scar. His body had a skinny tone. Naruto looked at the man's lower half to see he wore a steel belt with knives and small blades around his belt. Who are you? Naruto asked the hood man. Drave, the master of blades, and you are a lost soul. The man introduced himself. Lost soul, me. Naruto looked confused. Sorry, excuse me. I mean lost young soul. Drave said. Naruto glared at the hooded man. You're dead, lad. Sorry to say, but your life is over. Sad, isn't it? He told Naruto. What? I'm dead. Naruto's eyes had the look of fear within them. Sorry to say, but yes. You took quite a blow to the chest. Whatever it was stopped your heart. Drave explained to Naruto. Naruto looked hurt. He was young, just a kid. He didn't reach his dreams, but at least he died with a good deed. He protected Tsunade, the woman chosen to be the next Hokage. He hoped she would give it even with his death. At least he hoped. Is this heaven or hell? He asked Drave. Neither, kid. This is the realm of the dead. You need to go meet the king. You needed to be judged before you can move on. Either heaven, hell, or here your fate shall be known. Drave explained to the young boy. Drave wasn't alone, he had a horse with him. However, the horse was dead, nothing but bone, but it was alive. Drave got on the horse as Drave helped Naruto onto the horse as they ride off through the land of the dead. Naruto looked back at the tree of the death. Naruto felt drawing to the death tree, he didn't know why, but he just did. Drave rode past the dead, the plains. Naruto saw destroyed buildings and also what appeared to be a large temple entrance. Drave rode past a large bridge to another as the bridge had 4 paths. Drave took the north path into the city of the dead. There were many souls Naruto saw, and much like him and Drave, they too were light green colored. Naruto saw some familiar faces as Drave ride, but Naruto dare not speak when he saw their faces. The familiar faces Naruto saw were Haku, Zabuza, and the third Hokage. Once through the city, Drave went across another bridge and stopped before a large set of stairs. The two got off the bone horse. What is this place? He asked the dead blade master. The eternal throne, the king of the dead lives here. Drave said. There's a king for the dead? The young ninja asked with a confused face. Drave nodded. Yes, even the dead needs a leader, a guild. He sends them to their fate. Be it here, heaven or hell, or to the well of souls. What he said is true. His voice is law, his law are our rules. Break the rules, your soul will be burned to ash. Drave explains and warned the young soul. Sound like a tough king. Naruto sweat drop. Tough isn't the words I would say. And that isn't the worst part. Drave sighed. What's the worst part? He asked Drave. Follow me and you will see. Naruto followed Drave up the stairs. They reached the top of the stairs and entered through a large door as they entered a small throne room. Sitting in the throne was the king. The king looked nearly like Drave but more human. His skin was light green like everyone. His eyes were white dead. He wore royal clothes a king would wear. He wore a crown like a king should. He had a beard to show his age. He was a dead king, but an old dead king. Drave kneeled down on one knee before the king. I have returned, my lord. Drave said. The Lord of Bones his title was, though many know him as the Dead King. His true name unknown even to his own people. Standing beside the king was a man who looked far more dead than the king. Unlike the king, his eyes were black. The Lord of Bones stared at the young Uzumaki. The dead king stared at Naruto for a while until he spoke. For someone who's dead, you smell like the living. The Bone King said. Naruto didn't speak, he remained silent. Though he wondered what the king mean by what he said. My lord. Drave spoke. You have done well. You may go, Drave. I have business with this soul. The Lord of Bones said. Drave rose up and bowed his head before he turned and left. What brings you here, boy? The king asked Naruto. I died, didn't I? He asked the dead king. You are here as a soul. But you smell like the living. You are alive, so I ask you. What brings you here to my kingdom? He again asked Naruto. Naruto wasn't sure what was going on here. He was dead, he was sure of it. Drave said he was dead. But the king said he wasn't. My lord is near death. The soul has given up, but body still lives. The body refuses to die. Somewhere the boy's heart still beats. The chancellor spoke. Yes, I know. This is rare. The dead king spoke. My lord, I believe it is best to send him back on his way. Surely this isn't his time, he is not ready to embrace his death. Having him here will surely be troublesome to deal with. The chancellor said to the king. I cannot send him back on his own, I cannot force a soul back. If he is still alive but his soul was brought here, surely he was spat out of the roots of the tree of death. King said as he looked troubled. If he was brought here through the tree, then he is. The chancellor glared at Naruto. Yes. He is like the other one. The one who got away, but this one is different. Keeping him here will be trouble. We have no choice but send him back. King mumbled as the chancellor nodded. But lord, before we do that, why don't we have him take care of our little problem? Since he is here, why not make use of him? Yes. Chancellor whispered to the king again. The king nodded. Boy, what is your name? The king asked Naruto. Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said as he bowed his head, hoping the king wasn't going to burn or dispose of him. You are alive. But for how long I am sure not. You will be returned, but before that could happen, you must do a favor for me. There is trouble that I need to be taken care of. The king told Naruto. What is it you have me do? The Uzumaki asked. There is a soul that has been causing trouble for us. Not too long ago 2 souls escaped the city, but before that, long ago, nearly 100 years, a soul escaped from us. There is a rumor that there's a demon that steals souls. The king wants this found and killed. Bring me the remains of this demon and you will be sent back to the land of the living. The chancellor explained to the young Uzumaki. If that what it takes to send me back, I will do it. Naruto beat his chest with his right fist. The chancellor looked at the king as the dead lord nodded. Naruto turned his back but stopped upon the king spoke to him. Boy, wait. You will complete this task but not alone. You are but a lost soul. You will need a guide for this journey. The king said. Naruto raised his left eyebrow, curious on whom will he send to help him. The chancellor snapped his bony fingers as he spoke. The king is in need of your serves. Come out and serve him once more. A bright white light shined from the floor behind Naruto, seeing a person, or rather a spirit, raise from the floor. Naruto was surprised for what he saw. It was a woman, a very beautiful young woman, but a woman nonetheless. She had long, bright red hair and had beautiful blue eyes. She wore an elaborate, high-collared kimono. Her hair was arranged in buns with hair pins for her hairstyle. Upon being summoned after stepping forward, her appearance and clothes changed color to light green like the rest. The woman Naruto saw before him was outstanding beautiful, her matched that of Tsunade's, whoever this woman was. She would be his guide on this journey. What is it you have me done, Lord of Bones? The woman asked him. The king will send this boy back to his still living body. But before that he will find the demon that steals lost souls. You will help him upon this journey, Mito. The chancellor told the woman who was named Mito. Yes, my lord. Mito bowed her head and turned to look at the young ninja. Mito's smile was warm and peacefully. Naruto felt his heartbeat. He was trapped by her beauty. If she was around his age, he would ask her out in a heartbeat. Pleasure to meet you, I am Mito Uzumaki. She introduced herself. She bowed her head. Naruto Uzumaki. He said nervously. He completely fell deaf upon knowing she was an Uzumaki like him. Mito's eyes wide for a second as she blinked twice. Bit surprised, the boy before her was a Uzumaki. Mito closed her eyes and smiled, knowing this will be an interesting journey. With their mission set and everything was told, the 2 Uzumakis left the eternal throne. My lord, why have this boy be the one? The chancellor asked his king. He is one of the living. Having the living here is forbidden. This is the realm of the dead. Living souls are problem. Early souls are problem to deal with. Knowing their time ended early drives the soul mad or destroyed their minds. This boy sending him back before that happens will save us trouble. And also he carries a great soul within him and thousands of others. When he dies they will follow. A kingdom full of souls is something I would not deal with, again. The Lord of Bones sighed. Ah yes, very true, my lord. 5 years a whole clan that was slaughtered was brought seeking revenge. And before that nearly half of a village's souls were brought here as well. And also 30 years ago a whole nation was brought here. The human race is full of genocide, of war. The chancellor chuckled. That may be true, but this human, his soul interests me. The Lord of Bones said with a look curious in his dead eyes. How so, my lord? The chancellor asked. If the boy dies here, so does his body. Through the dead cannot die, he is still alive. What harm comes to him here comes to the body. He is still linked to the living world. If he dies, then well. The king paused but grew a frown. Hopefully it would not fill the city of the dead. The chancellor sighed. Elsewhere. The plains of the dead. The plains were covered in white sand. The white sand was actually ash, the ash of those before the first ruler of the dead. This world was born so long ago, when this was creation none knew. Naruto and Mito arrived at what appears to be an entrance to a ruined temple. But there was one problem. There was a way of opening the door of the temple, but in order to, the switch has to be pulled at the same time. So there are 2 switches. Naruto asked Mito. One in the north and south, both must be pulled together. Mito explained to Naruto. As that reason you're here beside being my guild. This place has switches, doesn't it? He asked Mito. No, not just that Naruto, but this is dangerous, and if the demon is here you will need help. Mito smiled at Naruto. Naruto looked away while frowning. Something wrong? She asked the troubled soul. No, he lied. You sure? She asked while staring at the young soul. I'm fine. Let's just hurry up so I can get out here. I'm not dead, yet. So I have no reason being here. He said, with a frown. Why don't take the switch on the north and I will take the south? She asked Naruto. Naruto nodded. The two Uzumakis took their paths. Naruto saw a switch on the north side of the temple while Mito found the switch on the south. Found it. Naruto yelled. Pull. Mito yelled. The two switches were pulled together as the sound of something being unlocked was heard. The two souls met up with one another at the entrance. May I ask you, Mito? Do you know what this demon is? He asked. I do not know, but I believed I know what it is. For it is a demon. But I think I know what it is. Mito said with a worry frown. What? Naruto asked. The demon who steals souls. It was born, or rather came to our world. Some cages would know it as the Reaper Death Seal. A voice spoke from far. The two looked back as Mito glared at the person whom was there. Madara. Mito spoke coldly. The person standing before them was Madara Uchiha, one of the founder of Konoha. And former head clan leader of the Uchiha clan. Like all in this world, he too was a soul. What do you want, traitor? She asked the old Uchiha. Madara didn't say anything, only smiled. He looked at Naruto and said with joyful look. So you are the new Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Naruto's eyes widened in shock, as so did Mito. What? Mito yelled. How did he know? Naruto thought. My Sharingan, even in death its power is amazing. You are a bit young to be a Jinchuriki. My, what have they done with Jinchuriki like you in the world now? He wondered. That's none of your business. Naruto growled. I guess so, he said as he soon frowned while glaring. Naruto turned away and entered the temple. Mito looked back at Naruto with a saddened look in her eyes. Seem after your time. Those who carries the demon were treated differently, Mito-chan. The old Uchiha chuckled. Don't call me that, traitor. She glared. Oh really? If I am the traitor, then where is your dear husband and brother-in-law? Why is it that child smells of suffering? You were treated well, Mito. I suppose Konoha broke the promise after your time ended. Madara said. Mito's glare made the old Uchiha laugh as he turned away and left, but not before he said to the Uzumaki. Love will never make the Nine Tails submit, only power will. The Nine Tails will be mine again, even in death. Time will come, you and all will see. And not even the Lord of Bones can strip me of my power for long. His threatening words were as Mito bit her bottom lip in anger. Even in death you're a pain in the Uchiha. Mito went inside the temple as the door shut behind her. She could see Naruto was far down the hallway as he stared at a large black door. Mito sighed as she wondered what Naruto been through. And what if Kushina, what happened to her? She wasn't dead, that's for sure. If she was, then surely she would have been here. This Naruto would be hers and Kushina's successor as a Jinchuriki, and yet why he leaks of suffering and not of love? And who is this Naruto Uzumaki? Was his Kushina's son or another Uzumaki found to be the host? These were the things running through Mito Uzumaki's mind. The temple wasn't much of a temple, there was but one room. The room was small, but in the middle of the room stood a large stone with the words marked on it. Given into life becomes death, given into death becomes life. One weapon, make that choice for all. Here now be thy worthy of thy weapon. Touch with one of between life and death. Naruto was curious what was within this stone. Naruto believed this was the demon's soul, or a way of summoning the beast he believed. Naruto, wait, don't touch it. Mito yelled. But before Naruto could even touch it, an old voice spoke out, stopping Naruto. Touch that stone and you and body will be turned into ash. Naruto and Mito turned their attention to where the voice was coming from. There was nothing at first until out from a black hole was an old short man wearing an all-black outfit. But soon he too turned green like Mito. Who are you? Naruto asked. I am a keeper of secrets. The old man said with a chuckle. Naruto didn't like this old man nor his behavior. Naruto didn't like this world of the dead. If this world is where he goes upon his death, he rather live forever than stay in this realm. Mito stood in front of Naruto as she spoke to the old man. I am no threat, my dear. I simple stop your young kin from doing something foolish. The short old man chuckled. Her kin. What does he mean by that? Naruto thought. Forgive us, but we were sent. The old man stopped Mito by raising his right hand up. To be rid of the demon that steals souls. Yes, I know of the demon you speak. The demon you seek is no longer here. It has been consuming souls and offering deals with lost and mortal souls. But drawing here by power within this temple, it could touch the stone and escape the realm. All that remains here is the crown of the dead and the first scythe. The old man explained to the two Uzumakis. Tell me more. Naruto grew curiously of what this temple has. The crown of the dead is proven to show whom the dead truly serves. The Lord of Bones kept it hidden here after he who has proven himself has left. The old man said. What? Naruto looked confused. The Lord of Bones was replaced but regained his title. Mito explained to Naruto as the old man nodded. Oh, I see then who was the former king. Naruto asked. That would be Death himself. The old man answered. Then where is Death? Naruto asked. On a journey he won't be back for a very long time. But if he does, his crown he would retake and become Lord of the Dead once more. That stone there holds the weapon of Death's first blade, the first scythe. It has many names. But Death calls his first blade Harvester. The Keeper of Secret explained. Only he may touch it. Naruto asked. The Keeper of Secrets laughed at the young Uzumaki. You believe you can handle the power of Death. You are alive and also a human. What could do you? To control the power of Death is to control power over life and death. You could not handle such power. Naruto glared at the old man as he laughed. I bet you I could handle its power. I'm not weak, I'm strong. Naruto yelled. The old man stopped his laughing and saw how serious this boy was. Naruto's eyes were strong. What is your name, child? The old man asked. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said proudly. Suddenly the old man smiled. Mito didn't like how he smiled so suddenly upon hearing Naruto's name. Naruto noticed the smile the old man gave him. So you are the one whom escaped Death's list. The old man laughed. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Ah, yes. 12 years ago you were born. Your soul is bound forever to another powerful being. You were supposed to die. But you didn't. In your place were your parents. The old man said. Naruto's gasp was quite and low. But his eyes were filled with saddest. He was supposed to die as a newborn, but yet he lives here and now. My parents took my place. He asked the old man. Yes, but however, upon giving up their lives for you, their souls were taken by the demon you were sent to find. Their fate is unknown even to I, the Keeper of Secrets. The Keeper said. Naruto looked hurt. He was alive because of his parents. This demon took their souls, stealing them from death, stealing them from ending up in this place. They were trapped, imprisoned within a demonic being. Do you have any remain to show proof of the demon? Mito asked the Keeper of Secrets. The old man took what appears to be a small knife. Mito grabbed it and looked at it. It dropped this upon escaping the temple. Leave this place, neither of you are worthy of its secrets and power. The old man told them. That power, if it forced the demon to leave. Can it find the demon? Naruto asked. The old man sighed, seeing Naruto was fixed on this demon. If there would be to find a way. The crown's power along with the scythe, a small amount would be enough to help. The keeper walked over to the stone and withdrew a small amount of its power and held it in his right hand. Are willing to accept such power to save your parents' souls? He asked the young soul. Wait, Naruto, don't do this. You don't know what will come of this. Mito warned Naruto. Naruto thought about it. He just met Mito. A part of him was thinking, why should he listen to her? While the part of him told him to listen to Mito. Mito, you're already dead. You enjoyed your life. But I'm still alive. I still have problems to deal with. I want to return to the land of the living, but I also want to find and save my parents. He said as he frowned. What choice will you make? Sacrifice is always a difficult choice. Life is full of it, even death as well. What will you make, young soul? The old man asked. Naruto remained silent for a moment until he spoke. I choose both. He said. My, how the souls of man has become as the century goes by. Very well, but be warned, the power of life and death is something powerful and great one soul cannot do alone. Naruto walked up the old man and grabbed the ball of energy. The energy went inside of Naruto's soul. There was nothing at all until Naruto fell to his knees. He gripped his chest as suddenly images appeared within his mind. The images Naruto saw troubled him as the images soon turned into a scene. As the scene played through Naruto's mind, Mito was about to touch Naruto's left shoulder to see if he was alright. Don't not touch him, he is seeing the events that connects him to death. Touching him will not only break that link but will allow him to see your memories of your lifetime. He will go mad if such a thing happens. All we can do it wait, my child. The old man told Mito. Who are you really? Mito asked the old man. I am just an old man who knows many secrets of both the kingdom of man and those beyond. My time has passed long ago, but my secrets and power are still of usefully even to the souls of this realm. He explained. Will he be alright? Mito asked about Naruto's well-being. He will be fine long as we do not disturb him. He is from your clan, Mito. But he is different, he is half-blood while you are a fully blooded. Though I am not death, I know how this boy came here. He is near death's door. Even if he dies, he will be rewarded to the gates of heaven. He gave his life to save the life of your granddaughter. The keeper of secrets told Mito. My little Tsunade. The old man nodded. Though she isn't little no more. She has great suffering in her heart. This boy has helped her. You know the dead grow bored and peek into the living world, yes? He said. I never knew that. How is that possible? She asked. Many few dead know of this. Especially those who lived in the city of the dead. The dead pool allows such a thing. He has strong feelings for your granddaughter. Those feelings may be possible of love. The old man laughed while Mito blushed a bit, finding bit odd a young boy as such having feelings for her granddaughter who possible is a very old adult by now. As we speak, she's doing everything in her power to keep him alive. After this is done, go to the tree of death, from there the child will return to the kingdom of man in his mortal body. The old man told Mito what to do. What of the Lord of Bones? She asked. I will speak with him. But for now we must wait. He turned his attention on Naruto. Memory link. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, was battling the Kyuubi shortly after facing the unknown masked ninja, who took the Kyuubi from Kushina. Uzumaki, Minato's lover, as Kushina was greatly weakened due to having the Kyuubi ripped from her soul. Kushina smiled happily even though she knew she was dying slowly. Seeing Minato frown with sorrow filling his eyes, Kushina to her lover, Minato, don't look like that. Don't be sad, I'm happy with the life I lived with you. You love me and I love you, and it's Naruto's birthday. Minato didn't want Kushina to die not like this. He wanted her to live to see the future together with her and with their son Naruto Uzumaki, who was just born this night. Kushina, what about Naruto? He needs you. He needs us, we're his parents. Minato told Kushina, as the beautiful red-haired woman just smiled at her lover. What our lives would be like together, if I lived. But I know I'm dying, even you know that, Minato. My only regret is I can't be there to see Naruto grow up. To see him become a handsome young man and becoming the next Hokage just like his father. Kushina chuckled but shortly coughed up small amounts of blood from her mouth. Kushina. Minato went to Kushina's side. Don't worry about me, Minato. Keep Naruto safe. Kushina tried her best to toughen up. Minato remained silent just for a moment until he spoke with a serious tone. Kushina, there's no need for you to die with the Kyuubi. With your remaining chakra, I can make sure Naruto can get to see you again. Kushina confused. Minato, what are you talking about? I'll take the Kyuubi down with me. I will seal your remaining chakra inside Naruto. With a Hake Fuin, since I'm not a host, I can use Shiki Fujin. Minato explained to Kushina. Kushina gasped. But with that sealing you'll. Minato paused as he closed his eyes just for a moment. I know, Kushina. I am willing to give my life to give you the chance to see Naruto again. For him to see the both of us, I know Naruto's future won't be a happy one, but he's a ninja like his parents. I believe Naruto will be able to handle it. Kushina looked at her infant son. But Minato, Naruto he'll be look on as. I am sure Sarutobi will look after him. Trust me, Kushina, you'll just have to put a little faith into me. Don't you believe in our son? Kushina looked at Minato before returning her sights back to her son. I'll seal one half into Naruto and the other half into me. We won't get to see for a long time once he grown up. Just in case something happens if Naruto can't handle the Kyuubi's powers. I will make sure to put a safety seal as well. Kushina, I promise you we will see Naruto again. Minato smiled big at his beloved lover. Minato, this unfair to Naruto, he'll lose both of us. Why are you sacrificing your life, just for me to see Naruto again? To balance between power of the tailed beast for our country, our village. I won't sacrifice Naruto for that. Kushina yelled at Minato. Because Kushina, abandoning one's country isn't worst as abandoning one's village, but abandoning one's child, your own, is worst. Kushina, your country was destroyed. You should understand what's best. You know the horrors of life for those without a country. Beside, we are a family. Minato looked down at Kushina as Kushina cursed underneath her breath. Kushina still didn't want to go through this, and beside, even if I lived, I could never be completed without you. Kushina, you made me who I am today. You became the mother of my child. You became my best friend, my wife, hell, even my teacher when it came to sealing jutsu. Minato chuckled as Kushina was completely shocked to hear those words coming from Minato. Without you, Kushina, I'm nothing. I rather die with you than die alone without you at my side. I know Naruto will understand this one day when he finds the special girl in his life. Beside, I can't give the kind of love a father can give to his son. That's your job, Kushina, a mother's role. I'm not doing just for us, I am doing this for Naruto's sake. Minato kissed Kushina's forehead as he handed over Naruto to Kushina. I am willing to die for Naruto. That's my role as being a father. I don't want Naruto to know we abandoned him because we never did. Minato smiled down at his infant son, believing he holds the future of the world. Kushina chuckled. An idiot but a brave idiot, one of the reasons why I love you, Minato. I want Naruto to be loved, I want to give him all of our love. I don't want him to have to bear the burden alone. I won't die until that happens, until we filled him with love, our love for him. Kushina coughed up blood once more. Minato performed the forbidden jutsu, which was best known as Reaper Death Seal. Minato sealed half of the Kyuubi's into his own being. Minato felt his battle greatly weaken upon taking in so much chakra of only half of the nine-tailed beast. When Sarutobi, the former third Hokage, arrived with few surviving ninjas with him, he saw Minato using the Reaper Death Seal. And just as Kushina shown signs of weakness, the chains around the nine tails whenever the demon fox took this chance to crush the small infant whom they are about to seal him within. But Minato and Kushina jumped in its way and were impaled by one of its claws, stopping it from killing their one and only child. I'm going to perform the 8 trigram seal. I'll leave my chakra within Naruto as well. If you have any last words for Naruto, tell them now, Kushina. Minato said to Kushina. Kushina smiled as she looked down at the infant. I have so much I wanted to tell you. Naruto. Kushina smiled as tears ran down her face. Naruto, honey, I wanted you to know I love you very much, so much. I want you to be strong for me. I know you will have a tough life, but don't let it get you down, sweetie. Be strong like how I was. I know I won't be there for you, but I want you to listen to me. Don't stay up too late, make sure you go to bed on time. A little guy like you always needs a good night of rest. Make you sure you eat right. Kushina chuckled as she coughed up blood. I know studying for ninjutsu is going to be difficult for you. I wasn't the best at it as well. Make sure you make friends, not too many but some. Make good friends, and you can trust even a few is enough long as they are your friends. Listen to your teachers at the academy. And remember, avoid the 3 vices of shinobi. More tears came down Kushina's face as Minato tried his best not to cry, as this too greatly pains him. And when picking the girl of your dreams, well, just try to pick someone like me, not a weird one, but someone like your mother, okay, honey? Kushina's smile was bright and warm. Naruto, you're going to experience a lot of pain and suffering. But never believe you're alone, because you're never alone, honey. We will always be there for you in spirit and heart. Remember who you are. Remember who loved you so dearly. I want to stay with you. I love you. You will always be loved, never forget that. Kushina looked back at Minato. Sorry, Minato, I told up your time. Minato chuckled as he held closely to Kushina. Naruto, this is your dad. Listen to that big mouth mother of yours. We love you, kid, and remember you're the son of a great hero. I know without a doubt you will become a greater ninja than us. 8 trigram seal were the final words of Minato, the 4th Hokage. The Death Reaper swings its knife, cutting the Lengtham and the 9 tails. The 9 tails' body was absorbed into the young infant as Minato's and Kushina's soul were absorbed into the Reaper's stomach, but only to be shot back into Naruto's seal. The Death Reaper licked its lips once last time before it looked to its right and let out an evil chuckle, but it vanished into nothingness. In the shadow underneath a tree a powerful being stood there in shadows. The being was tall, and as powerful as the being was, so was its appearance. Wearing purple color cloak with a large hood covering its face, the being's hands were bones. As there were large bone-like wing on its back, this being had a powerful and fearful appearance, but the most fearful part of its appearance was it was holding a giant large-size scythe with skulls fuses with the giant blade. The powerful being tight its grip on its giant scythe. Was this being anger by what has happened, or was it because of something else, or did this being felt it was cheated out of something that belonged to him? Whatever it was, the being stood there quietly. Upon it spoke these words. You cannot cheat death. You cannot cheat me. I will collect, one day. Until then, enjoy your life, little one. The being known as Death turned away and vanished into darkness. End of memory link. Tsunade-sama, he's coming too. Naruto heard Shizune's voice. Thank God. Tsunade's voice was heard. Naruto opened his eyes and saw a smiling Jiraiya and Shizune and a tearful but smiling Tsunade. I'm alive, he thought. Where's? Naruto paused. The last thing he remembered beside the memory link was being with Mito and the old man. Where did they go, he wondered. Orochimaru and Kabuto left. You're alive, Naruto, all thanks to Tsunade. She gave you CPR endlessly. She didn't stop until you draw breath. Jiraiya told the young ninja. Naruto was surprised by Tsunade's action. He didn't know what to say but these words. Thank you, Tsunade, he said before closing his eyes again. Naruto. Tsunade yelled. He's all right, just needs some rest. We all do. Let's head back to the hotel. Jiraiya told the women. Jiraiya grabbed Naruto's body and carried him on his back. Where did they go? Was I really dead? Was it even real? Naruto wondered as he fell into slumber. But somewhere deep inside of Naruto's soul something has changed within him. The nine-tailed fox stood behind its cage growling what it sees before it. Mito Uzumaki stood there with her eyes closed. She opened her blue eyes and stared at the nine-tailed fox, Kurama growl at his former and first vessel. Hello Kurama, how long has been? 70 or was it 80 years? She said with a smile. I've been sealed for 60 years inside you. 17 years in Kushina and now 12 years in the boy. I say it has been 29 years since we last met. Why are you here, woman? I thought our link was no more. Kurama growled at its first vessel. Still angry as ever, She shook her head in disappointment. You regain your beauty, I see. Last time we talked you were old and saggy. Kurama laughed. True, I was old. But in death I was given the form of my prim. Who is this Naruto Uzumaki? Why is he bound to you? What happened to Kushina? She asked. Dead. Mito's eyes wide greatly. Before she died, her and foolish husband seal me away inside their first and only born. Though the cage is tight when it comes to space, it's better being locked down to a chain and ball, and so much better than your seal. Being pinned down by chains didn't suit you. Mito joked as she laughed. Not when my arms and legs are tied down. I tell you, Uzumaki women are into S&M or what? The boy give me some space. Uzumaki women dominated even when sealing a beast like me. Kurama rant while Mito blushed. Putting jokes aside, Kurama glared at the beautiful Uzumaki woman. Smell of the dead you have, but you also have his smell. So you met Madara again, didn't you? Kurama asked. Yes, he refused move on in the afterlife. What of you? Kurama asked again. I cannot move on. My husband, I do not know where he is. Both him and his vanish right after our served time in the city of the dead was done. We were judged and we were given a clean state. All of our sins were forgiven and we were ready, but they vanish. I can't move on without them, and now all of this. Mito sighed while frowning. What do you mean all of this? Kurama asked. Naruto. I know he has been mistreated. My death wish I know it has misused. She said while glaring. Oh, you mean the next host of the Nine Tails? Must be filled with love and never to be mistreated or used as a weapon for a means of starting or ending a war. Kurama said while grinning. Yes, she said. Mito looked greatly disappointed. Sorry, Mito. But yeah, they didn't listen, nor did they do it. Kushina got it well for 17 years. But her son, well, Konoha pretty much screw him over. He's been an orphan since birth. The third Hokage put him in an orphanage, but it didn't last long. So he gave Naruto his own place. He was never adopted by another family. Naruto never knew who his parents were. He believed he was born alone, or they abandoned him. He doesn't know what being loved is about. I am surprised how well he took it though. Kurama told his first vessel. Mito was not only disappointed but was sad and angry with the people of her husband's village after her passing. She could have claimed Kurama a lair, but she knew him and been with him for nearly all of her life. I was told Naruto has strong feelings for my granddaughter. Is this true? She asked. Kurama laughed at first but stopped when Mito gave him pissed glare. The feelings are strong. At first he hated her because she refused to take up the title of being the fifth Hokage. But Shizune, the niece of Dan, Tsunade's dead lover, told Naruto the story of Tsunade's life. Your grandson is dead but Tsunade lives. Naruto can share with Tsunade's pain. Your granddaughter was about to be killed but Naruto saved her. I would say right now he has a crush on her. If I was Naruto I would feel the same. She's beautiful just like her grandmother. Kurama chuckled as Mito blushed. I always thought you hated me. You always did call me red bitch or even nastier name. Mito stared at Kurama. I was young. And also I didn't want to be sealed away. I was being controlled by Madara. You were dangerous, we had to no choice. She told it. Just like when my brothers and sisters were sealed away they said the same thing. Kurama growled. Your power is fearful. If I wasn't sealed behind this cage I would so. You would do what? She snapped a glare. Make you mine Mito-chan. Kurama said as Mito looked away and once again she was blushing. Kurama's behavior is far different from when they first met. Naruto Uzumaki was dead but now he was revived. What will he do now upon living again? What will do now having a part of death's power within his soul? Will he continue in search for the demon who took his parents' soul but little does he know they have always been within him, or will he return to Konoha with Tsunade, Shizune and Jiraiya? So many questions but so little answers, but very soon those questions will be answered and soon a new power will raise. As up in the sky a large greenish black-colored raven fly over as it set its eyes on young Naruto Uzumaki. The sound of birds singing reached his ears. He opens his eyes and gaze upon the first thing that came to his sight. Seeing an empty room, not a soul was in sight. Alone he was. His mind wanders on his location. He looked around the room. Naruto Uzumaki was alive, but everything felt like a bad dream. His body still ached in pain, the pain was real. But what of the things he done, the people he met? Naruto felt a surge of pain on his chest. He gasped heavy, he gripped his chest. He couldn't breathe, there was something cutting off his air. The bedroom opened as it was Shizune along with Tsunade's pet pig Taunton. Shizune gasped, she discovered Naruto was up. Naruto-kun, she ran over to him. She told him to lie back down. Shizune placed her hands on Naruto's chest. Naruto felt the pain in his chest fading away. He could breathe easily now. How are you feeling? Shizune asked. Fine. Where are we? He asks Shizune. In town. You've been resting here for 2 days. Jiraiya-san gone out and Tsunade-sama is resting. She's been watching you since ever she revived you. Shizune explained to the young ninja. Naruto was bit surprised how long he'd been out and also what Tsunade did for him. Where are Orochimaru and Kabuto? He asks. They escape after you save Tsunade-sama. We're not sure where they went. But Jiraiya have a feeling they didn't get too far. Shizune said with frown. Naruto nodded slightly, he felt weak. But on his mind he wonders what happened to him in the realm of the dead, was it real or just a dream? It felt so real but yet he felt like he woke up from a dream. It has been just few hours since he woke up. Naruto was taken to the hot springs of the town. He was accompanied by Tsunade and Shizune, Taunton. While Jiraiya was elsewhere, Naruto wasn't sure what the Toad Sage was doing, but all Tsunade and Shizune believed he was being just a pervert like he always was. Naruto felt real nervous with Tsunade and Shizune. Especially going to the hot springs with them. Naruto told them he was going to the men's side of the springs. But the two told him they needed to keep an eye on him. And also luck was on their side as today was mixed bathing. How's the water? Shizune asked Naruto. Naruto sighed with relief as the hot springs water was just perfect. He felt the warm heated water soak up to his body. Naruto could feel his body melt with joy. Much better. He smiled. The women smile as they soon chuckle. The women joined Naruto. Naruto tried his best not to stare at them. Underneath their towels they were, and so was he. Naruto watched Taunton float on top of a rubber duck. Naruto couldn't help but chuckle upon the sight. When we return to Konoha, I will need to perform a full psychic exam. Make sure you're well. Tsunade told Naruto. Am I damaged? He asks. Both Tsunade and Shizune were silent. Judging by their look, it was pretty bad. Your heart stopped many times. But Tsunade-sama was finally able to bring you back. She put a little too much force when she was performing CPR. Shizune said, while Tsunade sweat dropped. How much force are we talking about? He asked them. I may have cracked 3 or 4 ribs. Tsunade mumbled. Naruto felt real nervously quickly on the state of his health. But however, seeing Tsunade smile put his worries aside. But I healed you, but it will take few days for your chest pain to fade away for good. You almost die there, Naruto. Never do that again, do you understand me? Tsunade yelled as her eyes were filled with anger. Naruto nodded his head and smiled. Call me an idiot. But saving you was worth it. Saving you, Tsunade. Without you, Konoha would be lost. He chuckled. Shizune smiled as Tsunade sighed with her eyes closed. Idiot. I'm only going back because of you. If it wasn't you, I wouldn't even care. Tsunade opened her beautiful golden eyes. Naruto saw it in the busty woman's eyes. She had great worry within them. She truly cared about Naruto's sake. I notice you stopped calling me Ba-chan. Tsunade laughed. She's right. Shizune also laughed. Do you like it when I call you Ba-chan? Naruto grinned. No, I don't. I'm just surprised, that is all. Tsunade told the grinning ninja. Naruto stopped his grinning and kept on smiling at Tsunade. I have grown to respect you. Tsunade Senju. Hearing him calling her by her full name shown her Naruto was serious. You know, Tsunade's really beautiful. She isn't that bad of a person once you get to know the mad granny behind her mask. He thought. Naruto, you remind me so much of them. Your face, your behavior, and your dreams. You even went so far to give your life so I may live. Tsunade stretched as she lay back. Naruto soon got out of the hot springs and told the ladies he'll be in his room. Without any worry, the ladies let him be. As Naruto went to get his clothes, he peeked out to see Shizune and Tsunade remove their towels while bathing in the hot springs in their birthday suits. Naruto found them to be very beautiful and for middle-aged women. His eyes were mainly focused on Tsunade. He was happy to see Tsunade decide to return to Konoha. But it was all of his doing that she was going to become the 5th Hokage. His eyes wander down to her large bust. It amazes him she was 50 years old, but yet her body looks so young. To his eyes she was a woman in her late 40s or early 30s. His heart was beating fast. He felt his breath shorten. Naruto turned away quickly and went to his room in a hurry. Naruto shut his door and leaned against the door. He calmed down soon. What was that? He thought. Suddenly felt something he never thought of having at this moment, and especially after seeing women who were twice his age. He had a boner, and all thanks to watching Shizune and especially watching Tsunade. Did he find older women more attractive than girls his age? Naruto shook his head and slapped himself. Come on, Naruto. That gross, she's way older than you. Plus she's 50 years old. She's old enough to be your mother, no scratch that old enough to be your grandmother. He thought to himself. But it didn't help. Tsunade gave him a hard-on. Naruto entered the shower and turned on the cold water to get rid of his lustful shame. Later that night, Jiraiya returned from a day of searching for Orochimaru and Kabuto. Jiraiya told the three that the 2 sound ninjas were no longer in the area anymore. It troubled Jiraiya that the 2 escaped him, but they were close by, he knew it. Jiraiya told everyone that they would have to leave tomorrow and return to Konoha as soon as possible. Naruto was alone in his bedroom. He lay there on his bed for hours, focusing on what will happen once they return to Konoha. But lately Tsunade has been on his mind. He didn't know why, but she was there in his mind. His heart raced by just thinking about her. He felt bit ill on this feeling. He knew she was beautiful, but he didn't know why of now he had this type of feelings for her now. Am I in love with Tsunade? His thoughts were. Naruto knew he wouldn't get the answer by sitting in his room. He left his room and went to search for Tsunade, hoping these feelings he has would soon pass. At nearby store, Naruto walked the streets for his search of Tsunade. Naruto noticed he was being followed by an odd-looking crow. It was much bigger than the others' crows. Naruto felt uneasy by its glazes. He hurried his search, but however, he could never escape the crow that followed him. Naruto found Tsunade alone drinking sake. Tsunade heard her name being called. She looked over her right shoulder and saw Naruto there. The busty blonde smile and giggle like a teenager. Naruto, what brings you here? She asks. Where's pervy Sage and Shizune-chan? He asks the drunken Tsunade. Tsunade closed her eyes to think, but she was too wasted to even think. Tsunade shook her head for her answer. The young Uzumaki only sigh while shaking his head. Hey, you're your grandson. The owner of the store asks Naruto. A friend, Naruto answers. I'm closing shop early. Need help taking her back? He asks Naruto kindly. But the young ninja shook his head. Tsunade sighed and stood up from her seat and walk off as Naruto follow her. Naruto followed Tsunade and found her near an alley puking her guts out. Tsunade had too much to drink. Naruto wasn't sure was Tsunade drinking for victory or something else. You okay, Tsunade? Worry for Tsunade's health. I just need a bed. Tsunade told him. Come on, let's go. The hotel is almost near. Naruto helped Tsunade as he held her left arm over him while helping her walk back to their hotel. While on their way back to the hotel, Tsunade noticed Naruto look as if there was something bothering him. Though drunk she was. Tsunade asked him a question. Something wrong, Naruto-kun? Hearing her adding kun at the end of his name got his attention. The young Uzumaki looked at the blonde woman for a moment before he looked away. It's nothing, he said. Tsunade raised her left eyebrow. She grew curious as she once was a big sister, so she would know when someone young as Naruto was lying. You can tell me, Naruto-kun. Come on, tell me. It is Jiraiya. I could punch him if you want me to. Tsunade glared down at Naruto. But Naruto shook his head. No, it's not that. He told her. Oh, I get it. Girl trouble, right? Right, who is she? She asks. It's nothing, Tsunade. He looked away. Tsunade stopped in her tracks and let go of Naruto. She suddenly grabbed Naruto and forcing his head between her large. Naruto struggled for freedom from Tsunade's large, but after one moment Naruto was able to free himself from Tsunade's hold. Tsunade laughed loudly as Naruto was blushing while glaring. He never thought Tsunade would do something like to do him at all. Tsunade was scary when she's angry, but right now she was really scary while being drunk. Fine, I'll tell you, he said while Tsunade grinned while giggling. I think I'm in love with you. He mumbles. Tsunade didn't hear what he said. Say that again, I didn't hear you. She said. Tsunade leaned in closer. I really like you, Tsunade. He said, this time not adding love to what he originally said. Tsunade smiled at Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened for the surprise he didn't foresee. Tsunade kissed him. It wasn't on the cheek or forehead. She kissed him on the lips. Naruto's cheeks light up red. His heart was beating fast just like before. Tsunade withdrew her soft lips from his. I really like you too, Naruto. Come on, let go. She grabbed Naruto's right hand and dragged him along with her. Naruto was still shocked for what just happened. Upon returning to their hotel, Naruto entered his bedroom, but Tsunade went over to his bed and crashed down as she spoke with pillow in her face. Naruto, you don't mind if I sleep here, do you? She asks. No, I don't mind, I'll sleep somewhere else. But before he turned and left, he heard Tsunade called his name. Come here, Naruto. Sleep with me, please, she said. Naruto at first was against it, but no harm would be done, beside he's a kid and she's an adult. Naruto went over to the bed and lay down on the bed beside Tsunade. Tsunade moved in a different position. She wrapped her arms around Naruto's chest, bringing him closer to her. Even though it didn't turn out as he thought, he was happy to be with Tsunade. He closed his eyes and drifted away into slumber with busty blonde. Naruto's dream. Naruto woke in a place unlike any other he has ever seen. He was at what appears to be a throne room. But this throne was different, there was something off. The area was open, there was no ceiling but the open sky. The air was cold, so cold Naruto could see his own breath. Sitting there in the throne was the old man whom Naruto met during his visit to the realm of the dead. Naruto frowned upon the sight of seeing the old man. Seeing him let Naruto knew what he went through was not a dream but reality. Naruto walked towards the old man but stopped. Naruto heard voices in his mind. Death. An angry voice shouted with thunder. Why do you slay your own? The Nephilim have no claim to Eden. There are realms for angels and demons, why not for us? Eden belongs to man. It belongs to those who take it. Naruto fell to his knees. The voices grew louder by the second. He knew whose voice it was, he knew one of them was death's this time. But the dark voice he heard first was different from the other one. And so you have come bearing your sin like a badge of honor. What do you seek, Pale Rider? The return of mankind. To a barren planet, shorn of life. Humans are weak and simple. They would not survive this resurrection, nor do they deserve it. That is not ours to judge. I do this to spare war from the council's punishment. And what of the Nephilim? Would save but one, and not the rest. You would save one brother. The Nephilim are threat to the balance. If we had taken Eden, none of this would ever happen. Yet you rode against us, slaughtered our flesh, then bound our souls in your amulet. The tree of life has fallen to my darkness, from withered root to fruitless limb, and even death himself will not escape it. Naruto smash his right fist down, making a small crack in the ground. Naruto stare at the old man. The keeper of secrets rose up from his throne. Suddenly a crow came to his side as both he and the crow stare at the Uzumaki. Naruto rose up from his knees. What was that? He asks the old man. What was what? He said with a small smile. Voices. I heard voices. These are unfamiliar. What did you do to me? Naruto yell. I have given a piece of death's power. But within power lies not only his strength but his gifts, his blood, his pain, his memories. He has become a part of you. Slowly you will see. Tell me, what did you hear? The old man asks Naruto. Two voices fighting, one with reason, he has a goal, while the other voice is dark and cold. I do not understand. One speaks of saving his brother and the other speak of rudely of humans. He explains to the old man. Ah yes, that event. It has been thousands of years since that event. The old man nodded. Who are you, at you least answer me that? Naruto asked the old man kindly. I have many names and titles. I am an old one. But like you and many others before, you may call me Crowfather. The old man introduced his name. Okay, Crowfather. Will these voices go away? Being curious, he hoped they would. Yes, they will. But you must endure. I have given you a small amount of his power. I am surprised your soul was able to take it. But then again, you share your soul with another. The Crowfather chuckled. So you, how much do you know of me? You know of my parents and the night I was born. What else do you know, keeper of secrets? Naruto glared at the Crowfather. Crowfather looked at the crow on his side and tipped his head to the right. The crow flew over to Naruto and rested down on Naruto's right shoulder. Ash will be your guile. He will help on your journey ahead. You will encounter many difficult challenges. Your power will grow but slow in time. Crowfather told Naruto. May I ask another question? Naruto said. You may, child. Crowfather nodded. If you knew who I was then, why give me death's power, at least a piece of it? Wouldn't he be angry after knowing this? Naruto raised his left eyebrow. I am dead. I have nothing to fear from death. Even after my death I continue to aid him on his journey. Who to say I'm not helping him now by giving you this? I am a keeper of secrets. I know your secret, Naruto Uzumaki, and I know the secrets of many. But know this, child. You will meet your end one day. Not now. Not tomorrow or 3 weeks from now. But soon you will meet your end. You will meet death. But do not be afraid, child, all will meet their end. Some are afraid to accept it and try to escape their ultimate end. Naruto found Crowfather's word to be full of truth. Do you know I will die, for good? He asks, wanting to know his end. The Crowfather sigh at first. Why tell you? You think you can change it? You avoided death not once but twice. You will not be lucky for a third time. Death comes for us all, it's only a matter of how you use your remaining time. But I will tell you this, you will die but for the sake of another. That is all I will tell you, child. I will say no more than that. So I will sacrifice myself. Naruto nodded his head, accepting a possible reason of his ultimate end. Crowfather could see Naruto was calm about knowing how he will die. What of Tsunade? He asks the Crowfather. Worry of that woman's fate. He asks as Naruto gave a nod. You will be dead long before. Telling you now will change nothing. I have told a hint of your fate. I will not tell you the fate of another. Only he knows he has shares me this information of your fate. Even now as we speak he waits. You cannot see him, but maybe you can see what others cannot. The Crowfather let out a small chuckle. Naruto was crushed by the news. So he will die young, he believed. It wasn't going to be today or tomorrow, even weeks from now. But he will die but by saving a life. At least knowing he saved someone's life put some of his worries at ease. Thank you, Crowfather, I shall not ask no more. He smiled at the old one. Good. It seems you have matured a bit. He laughs. But tell me, what was it about? The voices I heard. Was that from Death's memories? He was curious on knowing. Yes, an event Death went through thousands of years ago. The End War came early and the Third Kingdom, the kingdom of man, paid the price heavily. It took 100 years for the last human to die out. The demon roams the land, destroying, consuming and claiming all of Earth to be theirs. Crowfather spoke with a disappointed look on his face. Then how we do still exist? Naruto was confused. Death was the cause of your race rebirth. War. One of the four horsemen was blamed for the end war to come so early. To bargain for war's freedom, Death swore that he would resurrect humanity. But he knew not how this might be done. Death's journey brought him too many places, finding any clues to free his brother from the blame. And so in the end he found a way, but not without a great sacrifice. He offered the souls of his fallen brothers, the Nephilim, a powerful and dangerous race born from crossbreed of angel and demon. The first was born from the womb of the cursed Lilith. Crowfather told the Uzumaki the first half of the early End War. He could have revived his clan, his family, but he chose us. Naruto frowned. Death made a great sacrifice. But even he knew how dangerous his people were. Even with their return there will be no good, no honor and no balance will ever come of it. They needed to stay dead. And so he brought back mankind, though Earth was in ruins and much has been destroyed. The angels and demons were forced off. A new seal was made. The four gathered together and created four great seals. The seal of death, the seal of fury, the seal of strife and the seal of war. When these seals are broken, the true end war may begin. These seals will be broken only when and truly when mankind stands ready. He explains to the young soul before him. And the four left Earth as well. Naruto asks. Death stayed for a while. He needed to ensure the seal will be never found nor broken by mortals, angels or demons' hands. He hidden seal well. Not even I know where they are, but only he knows. He said. So Death only returns to Earth to reaper the souls of the dead. The Crowfather nodded. But since your time was avoided, Death has been busy with other matters. In his place he left many who will find and bring the souls of the dead, to the realm of the dead. Naruto wondered these beings that took Death's place as collector of souls. Suddenly Crowfather noticed the aura that was coming from Naruto. The Crowfather sat back on his throne. Very soon you shall awaken from your slumber. For now enjoy your life, Naruto. We will meet again, but I believe it after your end. I have given you a piece of death. Because your desire to free your parents. The demons seek have flee to your mortal realm. Your allies cannot see it. But you can. Ash will help as much like you, he see and senses what others cannot. Naruto looked at the crow sitting on his left shoulder. Ash let out a loud cry. Take this blade. He no longer needs it for he has outgrown his first. Crowfather snapped his fingers as in front of Naruto was a tall bladed scythe. What is this? He asks the old one. Death's first weapon. With that weapon he reaped many souls, even the souls of his fallen brothers. The scythe floating before Naruto was the first scythe Death has ever held, the scythe known as Harvester. Naruto took the scythe and felt its power. Its power was amazing, but Naruto felt nothing but raw power from the weapon. Suddenly Naruto's right arm changed into nothing but bones. Naruto let go of the blade right away. But however Naruto's right arm returns to normal upon letting go. Don't be afraid what I have given you. Giving you a small amount of Death's power allows you to even touch that weapon without having your soul reaped. Use this well and you will find the demon you are looking for. Hopefully you may find it before your time ends. The Crowfather laughed as everything turned faded away into white light. End of Naruto's dream. Morning came. And like before it was felt so real, but yet it was a dream that felt like reality. Waking in the arms of Tsunade he felt so close to her, yet he was so far. He would die long before she will. As of now he didn't care, right now at this very moment. He cared about just being with her, and waking up around her arms was worth. If I die protecting her again, then so be it. His thoughts were. Naruto closed his eyes again. He decided to get more sleep. He warm, but it wasn't just any normal type of warm. But the warmest of being with someone you love or someone you care for, someone you cherish. It was the warm touch of being loved. Within Naruto's soul, Mito smiled for what she saw. This Naruto Uzumaki was unlike any Uzumaki she has ever met. He was never loved nor had the chance to know the love of a family was. But still he found a way of making one on his own. Naruto woke up to find himself within his soul, then rather the realm of dreams. There he saw Mito standing in front of the Nine-Tails cage. Mito's smile made him wonder what was going on here, why she was here. Mito-sama, what are you doing here? How did you get here? But Mito cut him right off. Your seal, yes I know. I was once linked with the Nine-Tails. When I brought you back to the portal to the mortal realm, I was absorbed in the portal as well. I woke up here in this place. I can leave this place, it doesn't hold me here. But I have decided to stay and watch you. She said with a lovely smile. But aren't you supposed to be in the realm of the dead? You need to return. There is no reason for you to stay, Mito-sama. Naruto frowned. He didn't want to cause her to get in trouble. It is fine. There is nothing to worry about. I cannot pass on. She told him. Why? I cannot move on. Not without my husband. Both he and his brother have disappears. I do not know where they are. But I cannot move on. Not without him. He died long ago before me and yet he waited in the city of the dead for me. Mito grew a small smile before it turned into a frown. Wait, then why didn't you move on together once you met again? He asked her. Mito let out a sigh as she looked very sad about something. Things are different for the dead. There are a lot of things that must be done before entering the city of the dead. She told him. Please explain. He asks. Mito nodded her head. Very well. Once the soul have enters the dead realm, there are two things a soul must go through. First, the soul must be arrived at the eternal throne to speak of the king. He or she will state their name and how they died. The king sometimes offer a soul a chance of freedom by fighting in the arena, but only to be tricked into serving him. Draven was one of such who fallen to the king's trick. Or they may become one of his warriors or becoming his lords of the dead. Those who become a lord of the dead take the role of judge of the dead or leader of the soul warriors. Now second thing is that the soul must be judged. Any past sins or scars or anything that held the soul back must be dealt with now and be let out in the open. But by performing all of this takes a long time. It may seem like a day or hours, but in the mortal world time flies like the wind. Mito explained to the young Uzumaki. Naruto saw it in Mito's eyes. There was something bothering her, something that she felt shame or hunted by. You didn't go through the judgment, didn't you? Mito nodded. Why? He asks her. I have a scar I do not wish to say, even now. Mito closed her eyes. What was it? You can tell me. Mito, I am sure whatever it is, you will be forgiven. He smiled at her. But suddenly he gasps when he saw Mito was shedding tears. Mito wiped her tears quickly. The smell of him she bears. The smell of betrayal. Kurama whispers from the cage. Huh. Naruto spoke. Don't. She said to Kurama. The smell of betrayal still stains on you, Mito. The Nine-Tails spoke as it soon grinned with full rows of sharp fangs. What is he talking about? Naruto asked Mito. So innocent he is. Blind to how cruel and cold the world truly is. Don't you agree, Mito? The first Hokage may have defeated Madara Uchiha. But he wasn't the one whom killed Madara out of revenge, did he? The giant fox chuckled loudly. Enough. She yelled. What will you do? I am already seal inside the boy. The fox taunt her. What's going on? Tell me if it any more secrets about my family origin, tell me. Naruto shouted in anger. Naruto's shout shut the two up. Kurama's and Mito's eyes widened for what they saw. Naruto's right arm was nothing but bone as he holding a scythe with that very arm. Naruto looked at his right arm and saw he was holding death's first scythe. Naruto calmed down as the scythe disappears and his right arm changed back to flesh. What do we have here? Kurama smiled. Forget what you saw, Fox. Now tell me what is so bad that Mito won't speak of, and what do you mean betrayal, Fox? Naruto asked the two beings. I will speak. Kurama said. No, don't. Mito said. Her face was filled with fear. Let it out. Naruto said while glaring at the two. Long ago, Mito married the first Hokage long before my defeat and capture. It wasn't long as Madara and first Hokage founded Konoha together. The two clans lived together as one. When the first and his brother left help their allies ending the war they were having. Kurama told so far. So what happened next? The Uzumaki said. Mito and few of her Uzumaki allies stayed behind. Madara has always hated Senju clan, but he hated the first Hokage, though he claims to have great respect for him as a ninja. But as a leader he did not. Naruto noticed the more Kurama told him, the more he saw how upset Mito looked. Mito was a brave and well-respected woman. She was the wife of a Konoha. But yet here and now she was breaking away in tears. Madara came into the Senju household that night. And he, Kurama pause. Kurama's large red eyes focus on Mito. Mito was no longer shedding tears. Naruto saw Mito tighten her fists and bare her teeth. Her beautiful blue eyes were now red, much like how Naruto was when he first tapped into Kurama's powers. Whatever happens next not only brought Mito into tears, but it brought out great fury. Naruto gasps, his eyes open wide. He didn't, were the words that Naruto said. He did. Mito's words were. Suddenly Naruto's scythe was thrown at the cage. Kurama was spooked by the sudden attack on the cage. Once again his right arm transformed into bone. The scythe was stuck as it strikes one of the bars of the cage. Kurama backed away from the cage. The surprise attack made him back off and silence him from speaking any more of Mito's past. That sick bastard. Naruto growl as he bares his teeth. It only happened once, but one is enough to scar a woman. Even strongest women can be scar. When my husband returned I did not lay with him for a month. I could not lay with him, knowing I've been scar. I felt dirty. I did not take no pleasure from what Madara did. I cursed him, that bastard. Mito fell to her knees. Mito growled while baring her teeth. Though I did not tell him, I was deeply afraid what he would say or do. But I believe he knew, but he didn't want me to suffer alone. Hashirama and I made love that night. His love wash away the pain. I love my husband and I always will. But I wanted to kill Madara, slaughter him. The very next day Madara and Hashirama battle. Naruto frowned at the female Uzumaki. He went over to her and hugged her. What Madara did was unforgivable. Even I could not forgive what he has done. Something tells me that was the true reason why they fought that day. Your husband knew what happened to his wife. Any man would seek out and punish the one who hurt their loved ones. He said with a heavy frown. So do I. Mito closed her eyes. Naruto comforted the Uzumaki woman. He felt her pain. He wanted to be rid of her pain. When I took Kurama into myself, I at first nearly lost control. I went for Madara. I blacked out, but all I remember was hearing Madara scream. When I came to, Hashirama was at my side. I woke in the hospital. Hashirama's armor was covered in blood. He told me Madara was dead. I was happy and our love grew stronger than ever. A month later I was pregnant and Hashirama and I had our first-born child, a baby girl. Naruto let go of Mito as she looked at Naruto. Naruto was smiling at the Uzumaki woman. And I thought I was the only who suffer. He told her, life is full of suffering. But suffering isn't bad if you have someone there holding your hand. Mito said. Naruto nodded his head agreeing with her. I said betrayal, but because of the Uchiha. Madara touched what was not his. Kurama spoke from the cage, still keeping his space from Naruto. Then why speak of it as such? It Mito was who betrayed her husband. Naruto said while glaring. Because he hates me because I seal him away. Mito said. Mito stood up and faced Kurama. I do hate you. I hate you all. But my hatred for you is nothing compared towards my hatred of Madara Uchiha. Kurama growled. Oh, if I see him again. Naruto's eyes were filled with anger. No. There is no need for you worry on what happened in the past. Mito told Naruto. But, he said, with a frown. I let this scar shame live for over 60 years of my life. It is time for me to hide this no longer. I have to let this out in order I can move on to the afterlife. Mito said, with a strong look in her beautiful eyes. Still he deserves to be punished. Naruto pumped his fists. He's dead. He cannot move to the afterlife because he refused to accept his fate. His power has been stripped and his people turned their backs on him. But yes, I do agree with you, Naruto. He deserves a punishment far from the one he has now. But this is something I have to do, on my own. I'm ready to face it, to be judge and move on. I know I may never see my husband again. But I was happy to live my life with him. I lived a wonderful life. I had 2 wonderful grandchildren, though one is dead, but Tsunade lives because of you. Mito smiled at Naruto as the young boy smiled right back. Mito kissed Naruto on his forehead as the young Uzumaki blushed. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki, and remember my words. The vessel of the host must always be filled with love. It doesn't matter what love it is, the love between lovers, or the love of mother and child, or the love of an old lady like me. Mito chuckled. She placed her forehead against Naruto. Suddenly Naruto saw images were placed within his mind. For what he was Mito's memories, the memories of her life, the memories of love she and Hashirama and Mito. The love she had for her children and her grandchildren. And the last thing he saw an old Mito hugging a very young Kushina Uzumaki. And so now Mito has given her love now to the young Uzumaki before her. Do not believe you are alone, Naruto. Love can make the impossible possible. It can give you strength many would not understand. No matter what happens, know this. Naruto Uzumaki, you are loved by your mother, by Tsunade, and now by me. Mito hugged Naruto. I promise I'll find the demon and free them all. I promise, he said, while smiling back. Thank you, Naruto. Mito faded away from his soul. She returned to realm of the dead to finish what she was afraid to face. Enjoy your afterlife, Mito-sama. Naruto closed his eyes but reopened them as he turned to smiled at the nine-tailed fox. Soon after Naruto too vanished from his soul. Kurama looked at where the scythe made its mark. The mark left by the scythe never faded. A piece of the cage rotted away. Kurama looked troubled for what he saw. Naruto's new power made the tailed beast worry. Kurama faded back into the darkness within the cage. He healed Mito's wounds, but he added her suffering to his own. Why? Somewhere in the realm of the dead. Mito stood in front of one of the new lords of the dead. Their many souls that remain within the realm stood there in their seats watching the event before their undead eyes. State your name and your death. The dead lord said. Mito Uzumaki, death by nature cause. She said. Speak now of the true you have hidden through your life. Mito nodded her head. She spoke what was once scar of the past that once haunted her was now out open to be heard by all of the dead. After Mito was judge, she bears no scar, no sin, nothing that held her to the past. But on her mind was Naruto. She hoped he would find the demon and save the lost souls the demon took. Upon leaving the dead courtyard, Mito heard a voice called her name. The female Uzumaki looked to her right to see Draven, the master of blades. Draven, she said. Draven let out a small chuckle as his arms were crossed over his chest. Draven leaned off the wall and bowed his head to Mito before he spoke. You are clear, Mito. Glad to hear it. You are ready to enter the Well of Souls. Draven told her. Well of Souls? Mito asks. Oh right. The king never told you, didn't he? The well is where all souls enter and are reborn. Wait, I thought once the souls here are done goes to heaven or hell. She asked him. Yes, but you need to go through the well first. The Well of Souls takes souls to their final point. If you have done an evil sin even after being clear of sin, the well will take you to the place where you belong. Not all sins bear the mark of hell. But if the sin is too deep of being unforgiven and too much even to be clear, the well will take you to hell. But however you bear no such sin. Some good souls don't enter heaven but reborn on earth given a second chance at life. The souls are reborn much quicker than their stay in heaven. The wells is where souls are reborn and new souls are also born. The well holds endless souls. The souls of humans, angels, and yes, even demons are born from the well. Every living thing has a soul. Without it there is no life. Now Mito, you have two choices: enter the well to be in heaven and be reborn, or stay here to serve the king again. You are clean, Mito. Draven told the red hair woman. Mito looked troubled at the choices she was given. What if I wish to return to the land of the living, without the need of rebirth? She asked him. Her question made Draven laugh. Sorry love, but if you wish to return to land of the living same as you gotta be either become a bloodless or be death himself. The king won't allow it. Draven told her. Bloodless? I've never heard of those. Who or what are they? She again asks. Nasty souls. Those who escape the grave and refuse to bow to the king's rules. Those who do not wish to enter the well and wish to stay in the world of the living. Some enter the mortal realm while others still roam outside the kingdom. The king has no like to them. Bloodless are different. Of course you can't kill what is already dead. Bloodless cannot be harmed by steel or weapons of man or demons or angels. But the undead, however. Draven let out a chuckle. So like to like, kill by what they are, huh? Draven nodded. Death did this flavor for me many years ago. The bloodless amulet allows the people to see and defeat them. The body can be killed but the spirit well, that's where the amulet really becomes useful. Draven explained. That Madara punk, I am surprised he hasn't become a bloodless yet, or who to say he already hasn't. Draven's words made Mito worry. But as I said, the only way you're leaving this place is either become a bloodless or death himself. But if you became a bloodless Mito, I would have to put you down. Draven warned Mito as he withdrew one of his draggers. Suddenly a voice spoke out, having their attention. Put the dragger away, Draven. I need to have a word with Ms. Mito. Draven's and Mito's eyes widened, surprised to see the person who stood behind them. You're Konoha's gates. It took them about 2 days and a half for them to finally arrive at Konoha. Naruto looked at the sky and saw a large crow flying over him in the sky. The crow's large black wings spread wide, blocking the sun's light. Before I meet my end, I shall reclaim what I have lost. There are some lost souls that are in need of finding. Naruto turned away as they finally made it. They have returned to the village hidden in the leaves. While all of Konoha cheer for joy upon Jiraiya's return with the person whom shall become the next Hokage of Konoha. Many were surprised to discover the person was a woman, and not just any normal woman, but one of the 3 great Sanins, whom was also the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Tsunade Senju was picked to become the 5th Hokage. Naruto Uzumaki was at Konoha graveyard. He was happy for all of Konoha to have a new cage to bring them into a bright future. Naruto stood alone within the graveyard of Konoha. He walked around the graveyard searching for a grave, a very special grave. Naruto wandered the graveyard for over 30 minutes until he stopped. Naruto turned his full attention upon one grave. A frown came across Naruto's lips. His fists tightened as his eyes were full of anger and sadist. Here lies Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Konoha's youngest Hokage and greatest heroes, beloved wife of Konoha's, of one of Konoha's greatest heroes. His parents were buried here. They were buried here, and yet he never knew of this. They could have told him if they were alive or not. But none told him his past or the origin of his parents. Naruto felt a hole in his chest. He was angry, and yet the anger didn't burn as greatly as he thought. He was angry, but not in the way he thought. He knows how his parents died, but he remembers what they said to him as an infant. But however, Naruto wasn't truly alone within the graveyard. Ash the Raven flew over to Naruto's side as the raven stood on Naruto's left shoulder. Ash looked down what the Uzumaki saw before making a noise. Naruto didn't say anything. He remained silent for over 10 minutes. Ash heard a noise from nearby as the bird took off, leaving his partner alone. Naruto looked up as he watched Ash flew away. Naruto felt empty while watching the bird fly away. You will not die today or tomorrow or even 3 weeks from now. But know this, you will die very soon. Naruto remembered the Crowfather's words. He wasn't sure when he will die, but he will free the trapped souls before that happens. He gave Mito his word he would. Naruto always kept his promises. That was his code of honor. He always kept his word. Naruto. He heard Jiraiya's voice from behind. The Uzumaki boy didn't bother to look back. He remembers his parents, yet he remembers what Jiraiya told him once. He was the sensei of the 4th Hokage. Now Naruto started to remember a few things now. The name Minato Namikaze felt more familiar now. Dad's name, it came across the name when I made a summon path with Chief Toad. He even said he trained and knew my father. Naruto felt a hint of betrayal now. As Jiraiya called out Naruto's name again, the boy didn't answer. Naruto finally turned around, giving Jiraiya his full attention. Jiraiya saw Naruto's eyes. He saw nothing but disappointment in the Uzumaki's blue eyes. Jiraiya looked between Naruto's legs and saw the names marked on the graveyard. Naruto, I can explain. Jiraiya said with a frown. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Not right now. We'll deal with this later. Today is Tsunade's day. Naruto walked past Jiraiya without even looking at him. Jiraiya knew he was in trouble now. A secret that was kept from Naruto was now found, he believed. But how did the boy found out what was going through the Toad Sage's mind? Naruto's apartment. Naruto sitting on his bed alone. Naruto had the window open. It was a nice cool day, and also he allows Ash inside his apartment. Naruto buy a can of worms for Ash. Naruto watch his partner dig in the open can of worms and feed upon the flesh blood worms. Where is the best to start my search? Where to find that demon? Where can is the best place to find it? The Uzumaki thought. Where do you think is the best place for my search? He asked Ash the Raven. Ash stopped eating and looked at Naruto before cawing at him. Ash flew over to Naruto's window and looked at the north place. Naruto looked at where Ash was looking. Naruto saw from afar the ruined rooftop of the arena where the Chunin exams were held. The arena, I guess that would be a good place to start. He said as Ash went back over to continue his lunch. Naruto smiled at his bird. Guess Crowfather hadn't feed you in a while, huh? He asks the bird. Ash looked Naruto for a moment as he'd caw at the Uzumaki only once. I take that as a yes then. He chuckled. Naruto heard a knock on the door. Ash jumped on top of the can of worms and grabbed it with his strong talons and flew out of Naruto's window. Naruto answered the door to see Tsunade standing at the door. Bit surprised to see the busty blonde who was now a Hokage. Hey Tsunade, what brings you here? He asked her. There was someone missing during my day being crowned as Hokage. She said, while looking at him. She crosses her arms over her large. Sorry, he said with a frown, I had something on my mind. Something like, knowing the truth. She said. Naruto looked up at the busty blonde but looked down at the ground in shame. So he told you, huh? He said. How did you know? She asks him. Naruto didn't want to tell her the truth so he made up a lie, a quick one. I put two and two together. Jiraiya said he trained the fourth Hokage. I was born the night of the Kyuubi's attack, and the fourth died. So it quickly came together, and then it hit me he was my father because he and I look alike. But I don't know a thing about my mother. He told Tsunade. The beautiful blonde saw the look of hurt in Naruto's eyes, she knew he felt betrayed. Naruto. She wanted to give him a reason not to yell or hate Konoha. But she couldn't find a thing to say. Do you hate me? She at least asked him of that question. Naruto raised his head up looking at Tsunade with a confused look on his face. Why would I hate you? He said. Tsunade let out a sigh before she made a frown. She closed the door behind him and grabbed his left hand and sat down on his bed as he sat down beside her. I knew your parents and so did Jiraiya. Kakashi Hatake, Guy and some of the others Junins. I left Konoha after I lost Dan. I didn't look back, I gave up being a ninja. I just couldn't take the pain of losing people I love. First it was my grandfather, then my little brother, then my granduncle, and then my grandmother, and then my parents, and finally Dan. Even though Minato and Kushina pointed me and Jiraiya as your godparents, I was never there for you. I was elsewhere drinking and gambling. Tsunade felt like trash, the boy who saved her life, and yet she didn't do anything for him. She was his godmother, she should have been there for him. I don't hate you, Tsunade. You had your own problem to deal with. You know what is it like losing what you love so much. Even though I had nothing to begin with, I never knew my parents, hell I didn't know I had parents to begin with. So I don't hate you, Tsunade. But I can't say the same for those who did knew and yet did nothing. He said while looking at the beautiful cage. Do you hate them? She asked. I don't know. He sighed. A part of me really hates them for what they did and they knew who I was. Kakashi was my father's student. Jiraiya was dad's sensei and the third knew but he's dead now. I don't want to hate, but a part of me doesn't want to let it go. All my life I was filled with hate, but I put on a mask for everyone while hiding my hatred. My hatred builds up all those years and when I finally know the truth. My hatred, I don't know why, but it's being blocked by something. His wonder to Tsunade's eyes and from her eyes, his wonder down to her and down to her hand. Tsunade felt Naruto's right hand was on top of her left hand. Because I have a people who really do care about me, but I know I can't be rid of this hatred that was built for years of hating and being hated. But knowing I am not worthless as many see or tell me. I feel bit by bit of my hatred vanish. But Tsunade, do you remember what I said to you that night? He asked the busty woman. Tsunade thought back, she couldn't remember much since she was drunk that night. But she remembers some of it. I really like you, Tsunade. Naruto's past words came into her head. I think I'm in love with you. Also came into her mind. She wasn't sure which one were the words he said that night. But all she did know was Naruto really cared about her. Tsunade felt Naruto grip her left hand as his blue eyes stare into her golden eyes. Tsunade leaned forward to Naruto and her lips met with his. Naruto's eyes opened wide. He was shocked by Tsunade's action. Tsunade withdrew from Naruto's lips as she looked away. I'm sorry Naruto. I have to go. Tsunade stood up about to make her way to the door. But Naruto wrapped his arms around Tsunade's hips. Don't go, he said. Please don't go. Please. He begged her. Naruto let go of her. As Naruto looked up at her, Tsunade saw his blue eyes was filled with tears. I really like you Tsunade. I really like you. He told him. Tsunade grew a big smile as she patted him on the head. She finds it cute he had a crush on her. Naruto, it won't work. She told him. Why not? He asked. Because you're still a kid and I'm an adult. I'll get lot of trouble for something like this. She explains, but Naruto just shook his head and hugged her away. I don't care what they said or think. I love you Tsunade. I love you, he yelled. Tsunade was shocked what she said. A young boy like Naruto was in love with a woman who was old enough to be his mother or even his grandmother. Did Naruto had a thing or older women? When did it start or he always been like this? Tsunade wonder. Naruto, please stop. Beside even if this does work. I'm old, you wouldn't want an old woman like me to be your lover, would you? Beside, didn't you say you loved Sakura Haruno? She placed her hands on his shoulder staring at him. Tsunade, I know you're old. But you're a beautiful old woman. I love you, I really do. I know I can never win Sakura-chan's love. So I have given up and move on to you. Please Tsunade, give me a chance please. I really love you. I'm in love with you Tsunade-chan. He smiled as Tsunade blushed when he called her Tsunade-chan. He's serious. I know older women been young males' fantasies, but still. I'm his godmother. He's an Uzumaki too. Tsunade sighed. She turned around to think more about the state of what going on here. Suddenly Naruto grabbed his pants and pulled down them, showing Tsunade his. Tsunade gasped for what she saw as she looked over her right shoulder. I am telling you the truth Tsunade-chan. Just standing here, looking at you. I'm all hard because of it. You're so beautiful Tsunade-chan. If you leave now, you can't stop me from thinking about you. I don't care what everyone will think of me. Screw them. They never helped me, they only laugh at me. Please Tsunade-chan, don't shut me down like Sakura did. I just want to be loved. Naruto hugged Tsunade from. Tsunade blushed while being hugged by Naruto. She could feel his 6-inch poking at her from behind. He's so hard and so thick for someone so young. He's serious about this. He's been alone for so long. I should have been there for him. Oh, the hell with it. I'm old and I'm not getting any younger, and I know I'm gonna die in a few years later. This will have to be a secret for now. Tsunade let out a sigh as she turned around and hugged Naruto. Naruto felt Tsunade's bounce on top of his head. Tsunade-chan. Naruto gasped when he felt Tsunade's right hand was stroking his hard young. You liked that Naruto-kun? How does it feel to have an old lady like me jerked you off? Does it feel naughty him? Tsunade asked him with a lusty voice. Tsunade-chan, faster, he moaned. You're such a naughty boy, aren't you Naruto? Tsunade's voice turns him even more. His was so hard as it twitched upon being jerked. Naruto kissed Tsunade. Tsunade dropped to her knee to level with Naruto's height. Naruto felt Tsunade jerking his faster while they kissed. Naruto felt pleasure build up within his. Ah Tsunade-chan, ah my, ah. Naruto came. He shot a large load onto Tsunade's chest, covering her shirt in cum. But amazingly Naruto was still throbbing hard. Tsunade never encountered anything like this before. She has only been one man in her life, and that was her dead lover Dan. Tsunade made sure Naruto's door was locked. Once she did, the busty Hokage remove her clothes, as she exposed her full body to the young boy. Naruto sat down on his bed as his hangout upon seeing Tsunade's body. Tsunade-chan, you're beautiful, he said with a blush. Tsunade dropped to her knees as she kissed the young ninja. Their kiss was filled with passion and love for another. Though the love Naruto has for Tsunade was way stronger than the love she has for him. But as they kissed, Tsunade felt her love for him grew quicker. Naruto grabbed Tsunade's right as he soon grabbed the left. He felt how soft and beautiful her large were. Tsunade blushed while being touched by the Uzumaki. She moaned while they kissed as he played with her tits. Naruto let go of Tsunade's As the two stared at one another as their eyes were lost in one another. Naruto's eyes were filled with lustful desire. Tsunade saw it. This boy lusts for her greatly. Tsunade got on the bed. She positioned herself on her hands and knees. She looked back to see Naruto staring at her large butt. Tsunade-chan has a big butt. She's so pink down there. He thought. Naruto grabbed Tsunade's cheeks and slightly opened his mouth. Suddenly Tsunade bit her bottom lip. She felt Naruto's tongue against the entrance of her. Tsunade moaned as she allows the young boy to eat her full mature. Soon Naruto stopped eating out the busty woman. Tsunade turned around and lay down on her back. Her legs were open wide only for Naruto. Tsunade closed her eyes as she was blushing. She felt bit embarrassed or shameful. Naruto wasn't sure but she was blushing. Naruto just smiled and said to Tsunade. You're really beautiful, Tsunade-chan. I'm happy, you're letting me do this. His words made her open her beautiful gold eyes. Naruto, this mustn't leave your apartment. If people knew what happened here, both you and I will get in trouble. She told him. But Naruto continued smiling. He leaned his face forward as he gripped Tsunade's long beautiful legs and pulled her towards him since she was taller than him and in body size she was bigger than him. I love you Tsunade-chan, he said, but before Tsunade was about to say anything, Naruto put his inside her thus giving his virginity to an older woman. Naruto let out a loud moan as he felt Tsunade's adult grip his young tightly. Ah Tsunade-chan, you're tight. He moaned. He thrust his hips forward and back. Tsunade bit her bottom lip again. She grips the covers of Naruto's bed. It has been years since Tsunade ever got laid. She felt like she was a virgin again. She felt his young thrusting inside her deep, though his size wasn't largely hung. She felt him thrusting inside her very deep. Naruto looked at Tsunade, seeing how beautiful she looked as he'd pound her. He couldn't believe it. He was making love to not only the fifth Hokage but his godmother as well. He didn't care what title or what role she played. All he cares about was this very moment. He was making love to Tsunade. Ah, Naruto, ah, faster. She said. Without question he did what she asked of him. He pumped his hips as his thrust quickened. Naruto felt Tsunade's grip his more, Tsunade's large bounce up and down as he pounded her. Naruto grabbed Tsunade by her hips and brought her up. The two were now face to face. Tsunade kissed her now young lover. Naruto's hands were down grabbing Tsunade's large butt cheeks while Tsunade's legs wrapped around his hips bringing him deeper inside her. The bed rocked hard as Tsunade ride her young lover. Tsunade-chan you're so naughty. Look at your face, so naughty. You like it don't you? You like my young. The Uzumaki talked dirty to Tsunade, his words was sending her on the edge. She knew what he said was true she loved it. It was years since she ever had. And now was riding this young boy. Yes, yes Naruto. I love it, I love your young. Keep me, pound my. Make me yours. Make me your woman, me. Make this naughty old woman come. I'm your dirty cougar. Tsunade's dirty talk brought Naruto to the edge of coming. There was something about what she said that just turned him on. It was either she wanted him to make her his or she was his cougar or she was a naughty old lady. It didn't matter as the both of them was going to come and there was no one or anything to stop it from happening. Tsunade-chan, I want you. I want you to be my girlfriend. Will be my girlfriend? He asked the busty woman. Ah, yes, yes, yes. I'll be your girlfriend Naruto-kun. I'm gonna come. Tsunade gripped Naruto's shoulders as her nails dig deep as she dear little blood. Naruto-kun. Tsunade-chan. I'm coming. They shouted together. Their orgasm roared loudly. Tsunade felt her young lover dump his load of semen deep inside of her womb. She didn't know if this would be a true heavy risk of ending up with child or not. Naruto was young bit of a preteen for his age. And yet he brought a woman who was far older than him to an orgasm. Naruto fell down on his back as Tsunade fell on top of him. Naruto wrapped his arms around Tsunade as the couple of young and old fell into slumber. An hour later, Naruto woke to find Tsunade was gone. He saw a note on his forehead as he picked it from his head and read it. Gone out for a meeting. Hope to see you soon kid, I hope what happened between us is kept in secret. But know this, I love you Naruto. Love Tsunade Senju. Naruto smiled after finishing the note. He got out of bed and left his apartment as he journeyed to the battleground where the third Hokage made his last stand. Chunin Exam Arena. Arriving at the battleground where Sarutobi met his end against his former student Orochimaru. Naruto looked around the area and felt an odd feeling flowing through the air. Ash stayed on Naruto's left shoulder as the Uzumaki looked around the area. Naruto felt something strong roaming around the area. He just wasn't sure what it was though. But this presence was very familiar. The longer he stayed, he felt his stomach gave a throb as his seal was reacting to something. Suddenly Naruto heard Ash call loudly. Naruto looked back and quickly dodged roll. Naruto's eyes upon what he saw before his very eyes. It wasn't the demon he was searching for, but there standing before him were two souls. They were Zaku and Kin, were once a part of the team that attacked Team 7 in the Forest of Death. But here they lie before Naruto as two lost souls. Naruto stared at them for a moment before he spoke to them. Why are you two here, especially as souls? Naruto being able to see and talk to them shocked them both. You see us? Kin asks with a shocked look on her face. Naruto answer with a nod. See and hear you, he told them. How so? Zaku asked. I'm special. Naruto annoyed, telling them his secret. Special or not doesn't help the fact we're both dead. I can't believe Orochimaru-sama just gonna up and leave us like this. Zaku growled. Suddenly Naruto heard a voice spoke within his mind. Send them to where they belong. You have the power to do so. The voice said. Ash. He guessed the voice. Naruto summoned his scythe. Naruto's blue eyes were glowing. They saw how seriously Naruto's eyes. This won't hurt. I am sending you to the afterlife. Sorry that you were used and killed. But maybe in another life you will have better. He told them as his words were kind and filled with mercy. Thank you, Kin said as she fell to her knees. But before I grant you peace. How long have you been here? He said. Not sure. About a week, I think. I'm not really sure. Zaku told Naruto. Did you see a demon, or a tall being that made a promise to you or made a deal with? Naruto asks the two dead souls. But the two shook their heads. Naruto bit his bottom lip in anger. But he clammed down after sighing in disappointment. Naruto held out his left hand as Kin and Zaku felt a sudden force draw them towards Naruto. The two souls turned into small green-colored balls. The soul balls flew to Naruto as he caught and held them within his left hand. Naruto closed his left hand and reopened to see they were gone. Wait, how did I know what to do? He asked himself. You have death's power. Some of his memories help you gain new abilities. You now have the power to see and hear the dead. If you find lost souls, you can bring them peace, you can collect their souls or send them to the realm of the dead. You are growing, young master. Ash's voice was heard. Naruto looked at his pet and smiled. I see. Well, you should have told me. He glared at Ash. You didn't ask. Okay, is there anything else I can do now, Ash? He asked the bird. I would say next time when encountering a lost soul, it is best for you to take on your Reaper form, it would give you much respect. My Reaper form. What's that and how I do gain that? He asks. The Reaper form is Death's most power form, it isn't his true form. But to your race eyes, Death is nothing but a being wearing a coat with a hood over his head, and his face is nothing but a skull. Death takes when he reaps the souls of mortals. This form is so familiar with the dead as Death would use this form to bring fear into the soul. But there have been many times that a soul would welcome Death's Reaper form and rather fear it, but love and welcome it. Your Reaper form might be the same or it could be different. I am not sure, young master. But you do have the ability to do. The scythe's power has granted you too. Ash explains to Naruto. Can people see me in that form? No, only those who half dead or close to death's door or have the ability to see the dead can. The living cannot see you while in your Reaper form. But they can feel the chill of death upon them. Be carefully upon using that form, because believe it or not, but the old can see you. And you can kill them just entering that form alone. Because they're near their end, right? Naruto nodded. But how old are we talking? He added. I say about age 80 to 90. Tsunade shouldn't be able to see you nor any of the age of 50. Ash told him. Naruto once again nodded. Good, the last thing I want is to scare her to death. He sweat dropped. I wouldn't worry that much, she's a strong woman, young master. Thank you, Ash. Now tell me what you see. The crowfather told me you can see things far better than I or any animal. Ash flew off Naruto's shoulder and circled in the air for 2 minutes. There's no doubt, the demon was indeed here. But our presence scared it off. I lost it trail. Forgive me, young master. Naruto patted Ash on his head. Worry not, we will find it again. At least we know it is here. He smiled at the raven. What now? For now, I continue my life as normal. I will continue my search another time because it will do no good if the demon is hiding, because if it knows we're hunting it down. If I don't use my power, I think it will come out. But I need to train, to discover more of my abilities. You have such a place and want to do it in peace. Ash told him. Where? Within your soul, young master. Ah, I knew that. Naruto laughed. Naruto returned to his apartment to rest, and as he'd rest he entered his soul, the perfect place, where he could master the use of his Reaper powers. Naruto was a bit surprised to see Ash was there within his soul. But then again, Ash wasn't any normal bird to begin with. Naruto wasn't a pro when it come to handling weapons. But he found the use of a scythe to be no challenge. He handled it pretty well. Then again, he had death's power. The DNA or memories flow through him. Suddenly, when perform a 4-hit combo, Naruto saw a ghostly image of what he believed he saw was his Reaper form. What was that and how was I able to do that? He asked Ash. Your grim avatar. When you channel into your power, a piece of your incarnation, or in this case your Reaper form, appears for a short time. You can use this to dispose of enemies if you feel overwhelmed or you wish to end it quickly. Though this won't perform the same amount of damage you would in your Reaper form. You can use this to scare your enemies if you use this when fighting. Naruto smiled at the idea of using this form combat and for his own needs. Naruto held back his scythe and took a big swing as he saw his Reaper form shown itself just for a moment. Though he wasn't sure if that was the true form of it, but Naruto liked the form he saw. But know this, you have just a small piece of the real deal. You can create your own since you have a piece from the original. What you saw was possible Death's Reaper form, but in your image. If you are truly serious of controlling the power you have, then yours will be different from the original. Naruto laughed loudly. Of course I'm serious. I'm gonna find the demon who took my parents and the first and second Hokage and slice his stomach open. Once they're free, I'm gonna reap his soul and see how he likes it. Naruto continued to laugh. Say, can I don't know, summon the undead or call spirits? He wondered. No, not yet. You are not strong enough to channel such power. Go bit by bit, young master. There is rush to channel all you will have. You make it sound like I'm gonna gain a lot before I die. He raised an eyebrow. Ash cawed at Naruto before he'd poked at the Uzumaki's head. Gah, what was that for? He yelled. You are showing fear of dying. I can see it in your eyes. You are my master. You must not show fear. If you do, then you are not worthy to be my master or be blessed with the power you were given. Ash cawed at Naruto in anger. I can handle this, I'm afraid. Just you watch. He glares with a frown. And so I shall. The raven again cawed. And so the boy who possessed death's power continued to learn and control the powers he has been given. Worry not for his own ultimate end drawing near, but for the souls that are imprisoned within a false death god's belly. About a week later, Naruto's power grew over time. Naruto decided it was time to grab a power boost if he wanted to track down the Reaper demon faster. Naruto entered his soul. There Ash appears with him, and like always he stood on Naruto's left shoulder. Naruto stared at the cage of the Kyuubi. Naruto felt Kurama's eyes staring down at him. What do you want, kid? Kurama asks its host. I wanna make a deal with you. He said with a blank stare. What kind of deal you want from me? The giant fox wondered. A little gamble. If you win, I'll keep you out of the cage. But if I win, you gave me all of your power. You're challenging me to a death match. Kurama laughed. Not a death match, but a match, yes. There's something I wanted to see happens. A theory I want to correct. Naruto said, with a worried look. Afraid? No. He glares. I am just worried my theory won't work. But I can't do it without you. So will you help me? If it means I can be free from the cage, then I suppose I can't refuse such a kind offer. Kurama chuckled. Naruto walked up to Naruto's seal as out from the ground. A pillar rose up underneath Naruto. Naruto felt Kurama's chakra overwhelming him as he grew closer to the seal. Naruto felt his stomach aching in pain. Naruto felt like there was something trying to claw its way out of him. Naruto's jackets ripped open as he saw the seal on his stomach twist open as blood dripped out from his stomach. Naruto was in great pain, but he bare with it, and just as Naruto was about to touch the seal on the cage, Naruto was tackled by someone as they fell to the ground. Kurama growled and let out a roar. So, I was right. Naruto thought. Naruto got up from the ground. He stares at the person who tackled him also got up from the ground. The person he was looking at was none other than his father Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. Been a long time, huh, Naruto? Minato said with a smile. Bam. Kurama smiled upon what he saw. Minato was happy to see his firstborn and only child Naruto Uzumaki, but however, Naruto wasn't so happy as Minato was. Their father and son reunion was a difficult one for Naruto to deal with. Minato fell to his knees as Naruto delivered a powerful blow to the stomach. Minato coughed as he bare the surprise attack his son gave him. That hurt, Naruto. He told his son. That hurt. That hurt. Sorry that I hurt you, Dad. Minato saw it in Naruto's blue eyes. He was angry. I'm sorry for I put you through, Naruto. He told his son. You have any idea what I've been through? You and Mom made a Jinchuriki. You think I would be smiling or crying to see you? I'm furious. He shouted. I know, Minato said calmly. Why are you so calm? He asked. Because I know what it is like. After all, I married a Jinchuriki. I know what you've been through because Kushina was a Jinchuriki and yet I loved her. Minato said. Naruto punched Minato in the stomach again. You think what Mom been through equal to my pain, my suffering, my agony? Again Naruto shouted at his father. After recovering from another punch by his son, Minato stood up and stared at his son. He saw Naruto had tears running down his face. Minato closed his eyes and frowned. I know I don't deserve to give the love many fathers should give to their sons. But I know I am the cause of your pain. But I never truly wanted to leave you behind, neither did Kushina. We loved you, Naruto. We died to protect you. I know what I've done will be forgiven, nor will you forget me as your father. But I believed in you, Naruto. I truly did. I believe you would use the Kyuubi's power for good. Naruto's glare was filled with hatred. If that masked man didn't show up, maybe then we would have become the family you dreamed of. Minato sighed as he opened his eyes. Naruto's hateful glare faded into a look of confusion. Masked man. Minato nodded. Tell me what happened. He ordered Minato. I think it's best if Kushina was here as well. He told his son. Where is Mom? He asked. We made 2 seals. I was supposed to stop you before entering the 9th-tailed level of power. And Kushina would be there to stop the chakra from consuming you. Minato explained. So you're saying I have to fight him to bring out Mom? He asks as Minato nodded. Yeah, I got a better way. Now that I know Mom lies within the fox, I can do it without breaking the seal. Naruto summoned his scythe as his right arm turned to bone. Naruto tapped his scythe on the ground twice. But nothing happened. Naruto tap again, but nothing happened. Naruto snap a glare at Kurama. Let her go. He ordered. Why should I? A pair of giant skeleton arms came out from nowhere. The left hand grabbed Kurama by the throat while Kurama's mouth was open. The right hand opened wide as it draw out chakra from Kurama's one, but when Naruto felt a familiar chakra, he took that familiar chakra. The pair of skeletons' arms let go of Kurama as the fox growled. The drop of chakra took form of the woman whom gave Naruto life, Kushina Uzumaki. The first she was Minato and Naruto looking at her. When Kushina saw Naruto, her eyes were filled up in tears. Naruto remembered what his mother said the night of his birth. He was angry at his parents, but deep down he was crying because he was with his parents at last, especially being able to finally meet his mother. They never were inside the demon but inside him the whole time. Kushina hugged her son. Kushina let out her tears. She was overwhelmed with joy after so long she finally saw her baby again. Naruto wrapped his arms around Kushina's hips. Naruto, I'm so happy to see you again. I'm so happy. She cried. Mom. His anger he felt was vanishing by just being hugged by her. He felt all of his pain being washed away just a simply hugged by his dear mother. Minato smiled as he crossed his arms over his chest. Even though what he did was wrong. But he did kept his promise to Kushina. She did saw her son, her baby. Kid, look out. Kurama yell. Naruto and Kushina let go of each other as they looked confused on why suddenly yell at them. But Naruto saw an arm reaching through Kushina's stomach as they very arm was reaching his stomach as well. Naruto looked over to see his father also had a long arm reaching through his stomach. Naruto gasps with widened eyes. No, he yelled. Right behind Kushina was the Reaper Death Seal, being the false death god. The Reaper demon smiled as it licked its lips. The Reaper demon was about to pull its arm to collect the souls of the family of three. But Kushina grabbed Naruto by the shoulder and threw him aside as Minato and Kushina were pulled together. No, mother, father, let them go. Naruto yelled. The Reaper demon's chest opened as blue liquid reached out to absorb the couple. Both Kushina and Minato tried their best to escape but couldn't. As Minato was being absorbed first, Kushina grabbed his right hand to pull him out, but it only causes the absorption quicker. Suddenly a 4 pair of chakra chains shot out from Kushina's chest and stomach. The chains strike and stab the ground. Kushina tried her best to struggle from being absorbed by the Reaper. Naruto grabbed one of Kushina's chains and pulled on it as Naruto used both his hands and his Reaper ghost arms. Naruto, I'm so sorry for what we did. This is our punishment. I'm so sorry, but I am glad I got to see you again. Kushina smiled at her beloved son. The chains started to break bit by bit. No, don't say that, Ka-san. This isn't the end. I'm going to save you. I'm going to save you all, he said while tears ran down his face. He just met his parents and now they were being taken from him again. This was no dream but a nightmare called reality. No, Naruto. Don't. It's okay, baby. Don't be sad, it's okay. I deserve this. We deserve this. This is our punishment for the sin we created that night. I made my own flesh and blood a waking prison for a demon. I sacrifice my son's normal life. I doesn't deserve to call your Ka-san. Goodbye, Naruto. I love you. The last chain snapped as it was absorbed into Naruto's body. Kushina let out a cry of agony as she was absorbed by the Reaper demon. The Reaper demon let out a burp as it chuckled. Naruto was down on his hands and knees. The Reaper demon reached its right hand down at Naruto to collect the last one left of the family souls to collect. Rag h h h h h h h h h h h h h h h. Naruto let out a powerful shockwave of his cried. Naruto teleport from the ground to right above the Reaper demon as Naruto held his side with both hands as Naruto's eyes were seeking blood red. He want furious, he wanted to gut this demon. As Naruto slashed down but missed as the Reaper demon backstepped into a door. With victory in its hands, Naruto could hear its laughter echoing through his soul. Tasting defeat with a broken heart and nothing but sorrow filling his heart to the core, Naruto let a howling cry of anger as no one could hear him scream, no one but Kurama. Hokage Tower. Tsunade's bedroom. It was 10 o'clock at night. Tsunade was woken by the knocks on her door. Angry at whoever woken her because have a good reason. What the hell do you want? She yelled. But Tsunade gasped upon the person she saw at her door. It was Naruto, but there was something wrong, something very wrong. Tsunade could see it in the young boy's eyes. Nothing but pain, sorrow, guilt. Naruto looked like he just had his heart broken. Before Tsunade was about to ask him what was wrong, he spoke first. Tsunade-chan, can I stay with you tonight? I can't sleep. I just can't sleep. So can I stay? He looks up at the busty blonde. Tsunade didn't say a word. She let her young ninja in her bedroom and closed door. Tsunade wasn't sure what brought Naruto so down into this form of sadist upon him. Whatever it was, the two made love that night. Her company clams him down, but that night Tsunade stayed with him and she didn't, not letting him out of her sights. Outside from Tsunade's window, Ash the Raven watched as he knew how hurt his young master was right now. And from Ash's eyes linked an open view to another. In another realm, the Crowfather watched. He saw everything that happened within Naruto's soul. He saw a reunion of blood, shattered by a soul-stealing fiend. Did you give it to him? A voice spoke beside the Crowfather. You're late, Crowfather said with a glare. Crowfather's guest remained silent as the old one sighed but spoke once more. But yes, he has it. But he is young. The Crowfather looked to his right staring at his unknown guest. They are all young, but it must be done. The boy has grown last since I saw him. As a newborn he would have died but fate decided to show mercy. This time he will meet his fate and from there I will take care of it. The unknown voice said. You think so? I don't think. I know. I see. Crowfather nodded. He will win, but not without a cost. I never thought he would be the one, a mortal who has claim a piece of death's power. The unknown person chuckled, while Crowfather couldn't shake the look of sadist. Something wrong, Crowfather. He met his parents after 12 years, but he lost them again. The demon came again and took them. The boys will nearly shatter at that moment. I am surprised he is not consumed by fury. It's because he's familiar with losing things as such allies, loved ones. Losing his parents again is something no one ever dealt with. No one but him at that is. You know this is your fault. I know. The voice said. And you want the boy to clean up your mess. He is but one. The others did not become greedy with the power I gave them. Selecting 5 humans upon death and turning them into reapers wraiths wasn't a good idea. I was against it and so did your brothers and sister. Crowfather shook his head in disappointment. Nonetheless it had to be done. I was needed elsewhere, I need others to take my place. I returned to reap 2 souls that night. 2 souls, but I thought you only went after the boy. Crowfather looked confused. No, the boy, and his mother. The boy original was supposed to die after his birth, mother supposed to die upon giving birth. But their deaths didn't go as planned. The mother proven to be stronger than I thought and so did the boy. And so was the boy supposed to die. Illness as a baby, be it an early case of the chicken pox or another cause. Either way the mother and son was supposed to die that timeline through that week. However everything changed, I was going to take Minato's and Kushina's souls in exchange for the boy. But that's when he came. Yes. Death. Death stood beside Crowfather as he wore a dark purple cloak with a matching color hood that hid his face from the old one. No, Crowfather. I know I have created another sin. First it was sparing the Nephilim's souls and now this. But from that sin, you brought back mankind. Death, why don't you give the boy more time? It will some time for him to find the Reaper Wraith again. Crowfather, as he smiled at the horseman. 2 months. I'll give him 2 months before I collect. He's already 12 years long overdue. Death pointed at the old one, as Crowfather smiled after being pointed by Death. What of Mito? He asks the Reaper. The Well of Souls. So she decided to begin a new life. Crowfather nodded his head. Actually she picked a different rebirth. She lives yet she still remains a soul. Crowfather let out a sudden laughter. She has become a bloodless. No, she is far from that fallen state. Crowfather let lost. He wonders what death do. What shall become of the woman's soul? She waits for her partner to die so he can join her. I have chosen the replacement for the Reaper of the East. If everything goes well, then my new plan will work just fine. Death chuckled. Crowfather grew a small smile as he also chuckled. What plan do you have, foolish one? Crowfather wonders as he smiled. You'll see, Crowfather. Goodbye, old one. But before Death left, Crowfather spoke quickly. Death, tell Mito when her partner dies. Bring him to me. Why? I would have to have a word with him. His soul is different from the others. His soul remains me of the new first ones. Crowfather's words made Death pause just for a moment. Very well, but I doubt that he would share blood with the first ones. The humans didn't just restart with 2 people like Adam and Eve did. Death shook his head. I know, but do an old man a favor. Crowfather said as Death left without saying a word. Crowfather turned his attention back to the portal view through Ash's eyes. Naruto would not finally meet the demon he'd been longing to seek for 2 months. During that time he spends his day and time as normally he would. Being a ninja to others while being a friend to some and being troublemaker to others and being a lover to one woman. Naruto was enjoying his mortal life, counting down the days as each one passes. Counting down the hours he spends with his teammate and friends, counting down the moment together with Tsunade. Though he smiles and laughs with them. Deep down within his was afraid of dying, to leave all of this behind once he dies. But he stood his ground and was ready to face what is yet to come. He was ready to face his end, but most of all he was ready to fight the demon he seeks. 2 months later. Naruto's apartment. 2 months has passed, him and Tsunade have become lovers. But this morning he woke up alone. It was raining outside, it was raining hard. Dear Naruto. Got a meeting with the old goats again, sorry I didn't make breakfast. I will make it up to you for dinner. Love, Tsunade. P.S. There's no mission for you guys since it raining like cats and dogs. Naruto was eating breakfast he made for himself, while Ash was eating a can of blood worms. While the two were eating together, Naruto heard a voice. Help me, help me. The voice cried. The voice was faint, but he heard it. Naruto got dressed and set out to find where the voice was coming from. Naruto wore a dark orange jacket with a hood, while wearing dark blue pants. Naruto had a grim-like appear from his new outfit. Naruto's face was hidden underneath his hood. The heavy rain didn't bother Naruto at all, while some were running and as others had large umbrellas. Naruto walked through it all. The voice was coming from a small alleyway. Naruto peeked around the corner as his right blue eye could be shown as he peeked. Naruto saw a lost soul walking down the alleyway crying while calling out for help. Naruto frowned for lost soul he saw. The soul was a little boy who was around Konohamaru's age. He wasn't sure how this boy died or why he didn't pass on. Naruto was starting to think the reapers that death left behind were getting lazy when it came to finding dead souls, especially the lost ones. But Naruto kept his guard up though. Even though he saw a little lost boy, Naruto smelled foulness in the air. 2 months and Naruto was using his ability to find and track down lost souls was very helpful. During 2 months, Naruto found lost souls of many residents of Konoha. Some that knew who he was and some who didn't. But found Naruto very rare and curious souls he came across. But that was important right now. Help. Someone please help me. Why no one see me? Can they hear me? Where's mommy? I miss her. The little boy cried. I can hear you, Naruto said to the little boy. The little boy gasps when he heard Naruto's voice. The little boy didn't turn around but spoke to Naruto. Who are you? I'm a helper. You're lost. Do you know where your parents are? He asks the little boy as he wonders if he would see the boy's parents somewhere else. What's your name? The little boy asked. Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. The Uzumaki gave a small smile. Naruto Uzumaki. Funny, that's my name. The little boy said. Naruto's left eyebrow raised up in confusion. The little boy turned around as Naruto's eyes widened open in shock. The little lost soul he saw was none other than himself. Naruto was so confused. How was this possible? You're me. How is that possible? He said as the little Naruto chuckled while grinning. It's because he has a part of your soul. The little Naruto's voice grew dark. Naruto stepped back as the little Naruto transformed into a tall being with light purple skin with yellow demonic eyes. The being laughed as it licked its lips. It had long wide white hair. It wore a white coat. Naruto's blue eyes changed to red as he bares his teeth. Naruto was glaring at the demon whose appears upon being summoned by the Reaper Death Seal. The Reaper demon took a quick slash with its claws, but Naruto dodged them and roundhouse kicked the demon in the face. Naruto's right and left arm changed into bones. I'm going to gut you like a fish. Naruto threatened the Reaper demon. The demon just laughs at Naruto. The demon grabs its chest and rips it open as Naruto gasped for what he saw. Inside the demon's chest he saw a large number of souls within. He didn't see his parents or the 2 Hokages, which made him worry. The demon ran away from Naruto while laughing. You're not getting away from me. He growled. Naruto followed the Reaper demon through the village. Naruto took whatever chance he would to strike it with his scythe. Unaware to him, few people of his village him jumping from rooftop to rooftop yelling in fury. Naruto. Tsunade and Shizune spotted Naruto on a rooftop. Tsunade saw Naruto's arms were missing, but yet when he was on a rooftop they saw a statue being threw at him by nothing. Naruto yelled as the statue was sliced in two by nothing. Tsunade saw in Naruto's eyes. His eyes were red. He was using the Kyuubi's chakra, but how he became armless was unknown. Growing worry, Tsunade followed after her young lover. Naruto followed the Reaper demon to the hidden forest. The hidden forest. The hidden forest, a place where many battles took place. The forest had marked a line between the forest to the road to Konoha. But most of all, this was where the 4th Hokage fought and defeated the 9 Tails and died. When the Reaper demon was about to escape through a portal, a giant scythe suddenly was thrown as it sliced the open portal in half. The demon turned around to see a furious Uzumaki glaring at it. He has hunted down the Reaper demon. The demon had no other place to go. You're not going anywhere, buddy. This is it. You're mine now. You own me some souls. Those souls belong to me. He said to the demon. The Reaper demon just laughs and told him to bring it on. Your soul is mine. Naruto ran towards the Reaper demon. The demon dodged Naruto's dash attack. The demon grabbed Naruto's by the throat and smashed him to the ground. The demon stabs him in the stomach with its right hand. Naruto yells in pain as he felt the demon was trying to rip out his soul. But suddenly Ash came from nowhere and strike at the demon's face as he peek away. The demon let go of Naruto and grab Ash and knew him away. Naruto step away from the demon. Naruto kept his guard up. But suddenly the demon once again licked its lips. The demon opens its mouth as Naruto heard a familiar voice that reached his ears. Naruto, why did you leave us, Naruto? He heard his mother's voice. Naruto growls at the demon for taunting him. He knew that wasn't his mother calling to him. The demon brought out a large knife and ran towards Naruto. Naruto and the demon slash their blades as they clash one after another. While clashing their blades, the demon dodged Naruto's down slash and once again grabbed him by the throat. Naruto kicked the demon in the face, but his kick did no effect. The demon just laughs at the Uzumaki. Naruto then jammed the bottom of his scythe into the demon's right eye. The demon dropped Naruto as it howled in pain. Naruto slice off its right arm clear off. The demon's right arm turned into souls as those free souls were absorbed into Naruto's body. Naruto's eyes suddenly glow bright. Naruto felt his power growing after absorbing those souls. Naruto felt a large number of souls flowing through his body. That was one arm, but yet I felt like I just absorbed 20 souls. He said to himself. The demon roared at Naruto. The demon dashed at the Uzumaki and slashed Naruto's face with a dash claw slash. But the demon's eyes widen in fear as Naruto's face heals so quickly from the attack. Souls. They make good first aid if you use them right. I still have them, you're not getting them back. They belong to me now. Your days are numbered, demon. The demon dashed away from Naruto, as it was about to flee from the Uzumaki. But suddenly, just as it was about to flee through the thick woods, a long red chakra chain was suddenly launched as it impaled the demon in its chest. The demon bare its fangs as it looked over its right shoulder to see the chain came from Naruto. The red chakra chain was shot out from Naruto's left hand as he held his scythe with his right. I told you, your days are numbered, demon. The souls you have are mine. Your soul is mine. Naruto shouted at the demon. But the demon used its left hand to slice Naruto's chain. But sadly for the demon, another chain was quickly launched from Naruto's left hand. The demon looked at its chest to see there were 2 chains that impale him this time. At the end of the chain there was a pair of curved hooks. But before the demon was about to do anything else, a third chain was shot. The third chain's hook took on the shape of a harpoon spear. Get thee over here. Naruto pulled the demon towards him, as the demon flew towards him. Naruto sliced the demon in half. The demon screamed in agony as the demon felt the steel of death's scythe easily slice through its flesh as it burns. As the souls of the imprisoned dead flew out from the demon's cut open body. The lost souls flew into the air as they quickly became lost. Naruto held out his scythe in the air as they souls were drawing to the scythe and thus were absorbed into it. But there were 4 souls that still floated in the air but came down and took solid form. Minato Namikaze, Kushina Uzumaki, Hashirama Senju and his brother Tobirama Senju stood before the young Uzumaki. The 2 Hokages bowed their heads to Naruto, thanking him for freeing them, as Minato and Kushina hugged Naruto thanking him for saving them from a fate worse than death. Naruto. He heard Tsunade's voice. He looked back and saw his girlfriend there alone. What was she doing here, the young ninja wondered. When she arrived and saw what was going on, she saw her grandfather and granduncle along with Minato and Kushina standing there with Naruto. Tsunade was shocked for what she saw. Tsunade was just about to faint, but Hashirama quickly made a wooden chair that caught Tsunade as she fell down. I'm confused, what's happening, how is you are all here? You're dead, all of you are. Tsunade said with a frown. The 4 looked at each other before they looked at Naruto. We were, Tsunade, we were. But this boy saved us, he saved our souls. Tsunade's grandfather told him. Naruto did. She asked as everyone nodded. Before she even had a chance of asking, Naruto spoke. It's a long story, Tsunade-chan, trust me. He told his older girlfriend. But we cannot stay for long. We must go. Minato said as Kushina frowned. Naruto frowned, but his frown changed to a smile even though they were going to leave him again. He was just happy to free his parents from a dark fate. Naruto saw Tsunade hug her grandfather and granduncle as she never did had a chance of saying goodbye to either of them. Tsunade, I see you have become the next Hokage. You made me proud, Tsunade. The will of fire is now passed on to you. I know you will bring Konoha into a bright future. Hashirama told his granddaughter. Tsunade had no words to say to her grandfather but only smile and shed a tear. While everyone was having a tearful reunion before saying their final goodbyes to their loved ones, Naruto heard Ashika warn Naruto. Naruto looked to see the Reaper demon was still alive. Even though it was sliced in half, the upper body was alive and active. The demon saw its souls were free and it left the demon in need of great hunger. The demon set its sights on Tsunade being a fresh soul. The demon dashed towards Tsunade as it opens its mouth. Tsunade's eyes in fear as she felt her body suddenly froze up. Naruto pushed Tsunade out of the way as it stunk its teeth into Naruto's neck. The demon ripped out Naruto's throat. No, Naruto! Tsunade and Kushina screamed. Naruto fell to his knees as he held his neck. Naruto felt his life quickly drawing away from him. He glared at the Reaper demon as the demon consumed the piece of flesh from Naruto's throat. The demon looked at everyone else and dashed towards them hoping to regain its loses. But suddenly a giant pair of red skeleton hands came from nowhere and grabbed the Reaper demon by the throat. Choking the demon with its right hand, the left hand grabbed the demon's head and ripped it off. Upon its head being ripped off, a large sum of souls bust out from the demon's neck. Naruto wasn't sure whose skeleton arms those belonged to. But it didn't matter, he was going to die. Crashing down to the ground as blood was leaking out. Tsunade couldn't do a thing to stop it. She felt powerless just as when Dan died. Naruto could hear the sound of his heartbeat. Bump, 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 bump. So this is how I will die, huh? He thought. His breath grew short. His sight started to fuzz out. Bump, 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 bump. She's alive, that is all I care about right now. I knew I was going to die, but never know this was the way. Bump, bump, bump. Seeing Tsunade was crying as well as Kushina was too. At least I got to see them again. At least I know their souls are safe. I suppose I lived a good life, I guess. Bump, bump, bump. Naruto didn't know, but he was shedding tears as his life faded away bit by bit. His death was a slow one. He didn't feel the pain of his ripped throat. All he could feel is happiest and yet sorrow as well. Bump, bump. Suddenly Naruto saw Mito standing right behind Tsunade. Mito was too sad by what has happened. Was he seeing this or was it true? Was he seeing her there because he too cared for her, or he did love her like he did for Tsunade? He didn't know, as it didn't matter at this moment. Bump, bump. He saw Mito touch Tsunade's left shoulder. Bump. Tsunade looked over her left shoulder and saw her supposed dead grandmother standing right there in her youthful form. Bump. Tsunade's eyes widened in shock. Naruto saw Mito spoke, but he couldn't hear what she said. And finally Naruto heard the last sound of his heartbeat gave out. Naruto closed his now soulless blue eyes as he slowly grew a smile. Do not give in to despair, my granddaughter, was the last thing Naruto heard before his life finally met its ultimate end. 12 years long overdue. Death has finally claimed Naruto Uzumaki's soul. For he shall live again. Bump, bump. Mito Uzumaki stood there at the tree of death. She was alone, for she was just a vessel to deliver 5 souls that are long overdue. Mito opened her right hand as 4 small green orbs came out and took form behind her. Appearing behind her was the long-dead Hokages and Minato and Kushina. None were deeply saddened by the death of Naruto than Mito and Kushina. Naruto wasn't there, for he was kept in a different place unlike the others. What will you do with Naruto's soul? Minato asked Mito. Mito didn't answer Minato for a moment. Mito turned around staring at the 4 before she spoke. Out of you 4, Naruto is on death's special list. Though you survived giving birth Kushina, but both you and Naruto were supposed to die. But everything didn't go as death planned. He was gonna take yours and Minato's soul in exchange for Naruto's, but you were stolen from him. Naruto's time was always out, he was borrowing time. Mito said. What do you mean borrow time? Minato asked. Minato, you weren't supposed to die. Where do you think your lifetime went? Both Minato and Kushina gasped together. You mean? Mito nodded to the couple. Your son was a dead man to begin with. But he was just borrowing Minato's time. Death allowed him to live long enough. You could say he let him live long enough to get rid of that demon. Mito turned around while still frowning. I'm confused. Minato frowned. When we arrive at the kingdom all will be explained. But right now I have to deliver Naruto's soul. Mito. Mito heard her husband spoke her. Mito looked back at her husband and smiled. Don't worry, we'll have our chat when I return, my love. I have a job I must complete. Draven will be brings you to the kingdom. Mito turned to look as she saw Draven and two of the lords of the dead arrive. Mito. Kushina spoke her name. Mito looked at the Uzumaki mother. Bring him back to us. She said. Don't worry, he'll just fine. In a blink of the eye, Mito vanish. Elsewhere. Naruto's location. Floating in the abyss, Naruto had his eyes closed. His body was in the state of his mortal form. His throat was ripped out, yet there was no blood, just an open wound. While floating in the abyss of nothingness, voices he could hear within his mind. Have you wondered, death, why you are untouched while those around you wither and rot in the grip of corruption? Could it be that you are already blackened by the sin of betrayal? How can you defeat that which seethes in your own heart? You cannot stop me, without forever damning your soul. See the power that you birthed. I've killed my fallen brother, stopped the corruption, I stand, at last, at the well of souls. With no idea what I must do next. Naruto heard death let a sad chuckle. It is quite simple, but yet most difficult. Naruto heard Crowfather's voice. I am in no humor for riddles, Crowfather. Death sighed. You may wrap the power of the well to return the kingdom of man, or you may resurrect the Nephilim. But know that choosing one will forever doom the other. Crowfather warned Death. My brother. War. I would protect him above all. Is it truly war you're doing this to protect above all? I said I would show of war's innocent. And I will. Who would have thought? Death would bring life. Crowfather chuckled. Wake up, little one. Mito's voice spoke. Unknown location. Naruto's eyes open. Looking around as he discovers himself within a new place. Naruto had found himself within a forest that was rich with life. Naruto looked at himself and found himself in the form of his soul, but however when he felt his neck, he didn't felt the hole in it. I fixed you. A voice said. Naruto looked back to see Mito sitting on a rock. Where am I? He asks. A place of beyond. She answers. Why did you bring me here? Where are my parents? Are they safe? Did everyone make it safe? He asked as Mito nodded. Calm yourself, Naruto. Everyone is fine. They made it to the kingdom of the dead. You are here because you are needed. Mito said with a small smile. By whom? I would be the one. A familiar voice spoke. Naruto turned to see the Crowfather standing there. Naruto saw Ash standing on the Crowfather's right shoulder. Crowfather. But how? Why am I here? I thought. You would have met your end. The old one smiled. But every end has a new beginning. Mito said with a small smile. She's correct. You are a special soul, Naruto. You have met your end. But your role is not over. Crowfather pointed at the young soul. Naruto was struck with sorrow. He felt cheated once again. He thought once he die he could be with his family and live well in afterlife. Feel cheated once again? Crowfather asked Naruto. I do. I thought once I died. I thought I would be with my parents again. I know Tsunade-chan will die, but later in life. I feel not only betray, but I feel that I betray her. He sighed with a frown. No need to worry, child. She knows of what you will become. In time you will see her again. Mito had a talk with her after you met your end. Crowfather explained to the young Uzumaki. Why am I here? I thought I only used death's power for my own ends and as well as take care of that monster. He was lost, but Mito and Crowfather looked at one another as they nodded. Naruto, you have used that power you were given quite well. More than we ever thought. But however, you are still a rookie when it comes to such power. That is why death has decided to make you the replacement reaper of the one whom you have destroyed. Mito said as Naruto looked at the Crowfather to see if this was true. Yes, what Mito spoke of is true. But you will be allowed. You will be watched as well. You will have a partner. Mito will be your partner and Ash will be your watcher. But you need to learn how to control your power. That is why death has sent him to assist you. Crowfather didn't sound happy when he mentions another person will help Naruto. Who is him? Naruto raised his right eyebrow. You will see him soon. Crowfather pause, but for now there you will be here to control your power before you become of great use. This place is beyond Earth. A place which is near its end but at the same time also near its beginning, a world trapped between life and death. Mito explains to Naruto. Wow, that's deep. The young soul nodded. Crowfather, before whatever, you and Mito have plans for me. I want to return to the kingdom of the dead. I want to finish what a soul like me needs to do. Also, if I am become a reaper, this might be the last time I'll ever see my partners. Before I can move on, I wish some closures with my parents. He told them. Mito looked at Crowfather for a moment as the old one gave a nod. Very well, but know this. You cannot enter the well of souls. Your soul is a soul not ready to enter well. Yet you have a role to play in death. Crowfather told the young Uzumaki. I know. Naruto chuckled. But before you go, Naruto, would you like me to tell you the reason why you lived until now? Have it ever made you wonder? Crowfather said. Naruto paused for a moment as he took a quick thought. Sure, why not? Knowing more about why I survived this long doesn't hurt. The young Uzumaki grinned. Kingdom of the dead. Ah, back already are we? Naruto heard a familiar voice upon entering the kingdom. Looking to his right, he saw Draven, the master of blade. Back for now, the young soul said. We'll see if the king allows you to leave. Draven shook his head. He will leave, he has special permission. Mito spoke. Special permission. Ba, doesn't matter, what to be done needs will be done. Draven said as the two Uzumaki left off to the judge house. Upon arriving at the judge house where the dead are judged for the events of lives that will impact the fate of their souls, Naruto stood in front of the count of the dead, ready to be judged by one of the new lords of the dead from the crown of souls who watched from the stands. Upon in the roles of souls were Kushina, Minato and the first and second Hokage. State your name and death. The lord of the dead spoke. Naruto Uzumaki, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Death by slaying a death god, only to have my throat rips apart. Naruto spoke. Speak of any sins you have done or forever hold your soul's fate. The lord of the dead again spoke. My only sin and regret is not being with the woman I loved. I was dead since birth, only borrowing the time my father given me. Though I hated my village for what they have done to me, unknowing such hidden truth from them all, I accept the fate of my soul whoever it goes in this afterlife. I have no regret, for I have no sin to speak. Naruto's words truthful and pure. Although your life has been cruel and you been case as a monster, you come before judgment, I see no hatred within your eyes. The woman you love is far older than you. You have performed incest with her. Knowing this, you claim you have done no sin. Lord of the dead said. Naruto remained silent as all eyes were on Naruto. He didn't care if they were sickened or accept what he has done. He remembered what Mito told him, all secrets must be known or else he will not finish his trial. Yes, even though she's older than me and we are related but only by far from clansmen, I still love Tsunade-chan. And I was willingly to die for her, and I would do it again. We do unbelievable things to survive and go for the same to save the ones we love. Judge me now if you want, sent me to hell or the unknown. But that alone will not wipe the love I have for Tsunade Senju, nor will destroy for what I am, for I am a Uzumaki. Naruto said. Suddenly underneath Naruto a bright green light flash. Naruto close while blocking the bright light flash. When the flash of light faded, Naruto felt completely different. He felt good, really good. But there's something odd, just like before he felt incomplete somehow. But nevertheless he has been judged. Judgment is done. Outside of the house of judgment. Ah, so you did get judge after all. Draven's voice was heard. Naruto looked to see Draven leaning against the wall. Yes, I told ya. Now I have other business to do. Naruto said. Well, good luck with that task, but before you go, I believe there's some people want to see you before you go off. Draven jerked his head to the right as Naruto saw Mito with Kushina and Minato. Minato and Kushina walked over to Naruto only to hug their son. You did good, kid. Minato smiled at his son. Naruto, it's time to go. Mito said. I know. He said with a frown. Where are you going, Naruto? Kushina frowned. Death offers me a chance. Since I killed the Reaper demon, I was given a spot to fill in. I will become a Reaper, but unlike it I won't be alone, nor will I be greedy as it. I wanted to return to the kingdom of the dead to finish my judgment before I go. And also I wanted to see you guys again before I go. I may never see you ever again. But I know that I have parents and they loved me, even though what you given me wasn't quite the best gift a parent should give their children. Minato sweat dropped while Kushina hugged her son. We'll miss you, Naruto. Minato said. I know. He nods. Time is different here. It may take years before you guys' judgment is fulfilled, so who knows? We might see each other again or in another life. Naruto's words made Kushina tear up. Mom, don't cry, I was just guessing. He sweat drop along with Minato. I just wish we could have lived the life we could have been. Kushina said. I know, but it is how it is. Life is cruel, but I'm a big boy. I take handle myself, I did for all my life. He grins at his parents. And he's my granddaughter's lover, that counts for something. I suppose losing his virginity to a mature woman isn't a big deal. Mito looked at Naruto with a wide smile. Naruto blushed when Mito spoke of this in front of his parents. Oh Naruto. Kushina covered her mouth as she blushed. That's my boy. Minato teased his son, causing Naruto to blush deeper. Not helping Mito-sama. The young Uzumaki sighed and looked away while embarrassed in front of his parents. The elder Uzumaki just laughed and smiled at her granddaughter's lover. Naruto, there is a few things I need to take care of before I help you. I will teleport you to the Crowfather. He will help you from there. I will join shortly after I finish here. Naruto nodded. Mito reached her right hand out as a simply wave of her right hand. Naruto vanished in the blink of the eye. Your son is strong, Kushina. Both you and your husband should be proud of him. Because of him I was able to face my judgment. Mito frowned at first, but she smiled in end. Mito, you will move on as we. She heard her husband's voice. She turned around to see him and his brother there. That I cannot do, my love. The world is much different now, long since our deaths. The Biju you have given to each of 5 great nations has left such a mess. And now this boy is the Nine Tails host. I will be the boy's watcher. He may be that's all left of my people. Mito said with a frown. But Naruto helped me, because of him I have overcome what have shadowed me for all of my life and afterlife. I am me again. Hashirama placed his hands on his wife's shoulder as she looked into his eyes. Seeing him smiling at her made her smile. Go Mito. The boy needs your wisdom more than ever. I can feel a great power within him. Not the powers of death, but something more much. I will finish my judgment and go the well. This soul of mine has been through a lot, and final rest is what it needs. For I know Konoha is in safe hands of our granddaughter. I believe in her and I believe in the boy. Together they will make Konoha's fire burn ever brighter. Hashirama's words were strong as they filled with truth. Mito say farewell her husband, for she knows she will never see him again. Maybe in another life, but for now she needed elsewhere. For the fate of a soul now rests within her care now. Elsewhere, Naruto's location. Naruto found himself within a place he was not familiar with. The place he was teleported to was a large arena. Complete your judgment you have. Crowfather's voice was heard. Naruto looked to his right to see the Old One standing there. Beside the Old One was a tall being in golden color armor. What is this? He asked them. This place is where your training will take place. Here time has no effect upon this place. The Old One said. Let me guess, the big guy here will be here to help train me, huh? Is he him, the one you spoke of early? Naruto asked. No, I am not the one, young warrior. That would be my master, the one whom has battled death long ago. He looks forward in meeting with you. The golden armor giant spoke. Ah, you made it. I'm so glad I finally get to meet the little soul that death talks so much about. Your appearance surprises me, but we can't judge a book by its cover now, can we? A voice spoke that caught everyone's attention. Naruto looked around but didn't where the voice was coming from. But suddenly a blue symbol with the words wicked appeared to Naruto's right. Out from the symbol was a person. He was 5 inches taller than Naruto and the Crowfather. His skin was gray, for his appearance was that of a zombie. His eyes were soulless gray. He wore torn black pants as shirtless he was, wearing a black top hat on his head, while holding a gentleman's cane. Crowfather looked very displeased upon seeing the zombie gentleman, for reason were unknown to Naruto. Master, you have returned. The golden giant spoke. Who is he? Naruto asked. The young man would be a gentleman and introduce himself first before asking. No. The zombie gentleman spoke. Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. He introduced himself. The zombie gentleman smiled as he slightly lifted his top hat while looking at the young Uzumaki. Allow me to introduce myself, I am Sir Wicked Killington. It's a pleasure to meet you. And you young man has been invited. Welcome to the Crucible. It's have been 5 years since Naruto's death in the mortal world. Time flow differently of the world of the undead and the world of the living, upon his training of becoming a Reaper agent. Standing in the middle of a large arena ring, was a very dark blue tall being. The tall being's face is completely hidden by a hood. It seemed to have no legs, as giant skeletal wings sprout from its back. It had large bony hands while holding large scythe. Standing in front of it was Mito Uzumaki. Her eyes were closed, as if she was waiting for something to happen. The large hooded man reached out to Mito. Mito's eyes shot open as she quickly turned around. In an instant she transforms into a giant hooded being as well. Only different was Mito wore a red hood. She didn't have bony wings but rather flames wings. She grabbed the giant hooded man's bony wrist and smashed him to the smash. The giant hooded man looked at Mito, who stared down at him. The hooded man tackled Mito down to the floor. Mito head-butted the man and grabbed him by the shoulders and threw him into the air. Mito snapped her bony fingers as a giant bone spear from the sky. The hooded man saw the flying spear coming towards him. He grabbed the bone spear and threw it at Mito. The bone spear impacted Mito in the chest. Mito returned to her human form as the bone spear vanished. The hooded man looked down at the female Uzumaki, as she looked up at her hooded foe. Well done. Took you 5 years but you were able to beat me in my Reaper form. Mito laughed. The hooded man twisted in a circle to transform, only to show his true form, which was Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki appearance had charged overtime. His appearance was that of an 18-year-old. Naruto learned the ways of his death power and learned how to control it with Mito's, Wicked K's and Crowfather's help. Ah, well done. What a show that was, my dear boy. Wicked K appeared before the two. Man, felt like forever since we began the training. Naruto cracked his neck. Ha 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 ha, true, but time waits for no one, my young friend. Wicked K said. Indeed. Naruto said with a sad look. What's wrong, my friend? K asked the young lad. I worry about my loved ones. I wonder what they're doing now, especially Tsunade. He told Wicked K. Ah yes, I know how that feels. When I was alive, I too had loved ones. But I will tell you this, my young friend, worrying will do no good. If the mind is troubled, it will affect the body. And with the body goes with your strength. Sir K is right, Naruto. Worrying will do you no good. But it has been a while since we started our lesson. I believe a break is needed. We have been going for a long time. Mito smiled at her young Uzumaki. Kingdom of the Dead. Naruto and Mito arrive at the kingdom only to be greeted by an undead knight. What business you have? He asked them. Visiting friends. Clam yourself, knight. The king knows the business I have and what the young man I am company with. Mito told the undead knight. The king of the undead is no more. The kingdom of the undead is thrown into chaos. Only us knight are the ones keeping the kingdom together. He explained. What? The king's dead? How can that be? Mito was shocked. Ah, that would be work of an assassin. We do not know who the assassin was or who the assassin worked for. The undead knight said. Wait, if the kingdom is in chaos, what of the souls that lived in the kingdom or those ready to enter the well of souls? Naruto asked the undead knight. Worry not, young one. The souls are protected only. It is the king's will of what souls goes in. If any soul goes unchecked, many problem will awake. He said. Why is that? Naruto asked. Because every soul who enter the realm of the kingdom must be known. If this soul is not known or found, the soul has a high risk of becoming bloodless. He explained. Who could want the king dead? Naruto wonder. Throne of the dead. Worry of the state of the undead. Mito entered the throne of the king. Naruto accompany her and also make sure nothing bad happens to his Uzumaki elder. Hoping to see where the chancellor was. However, the chancellor wasn't in the throne room. Where's the chancellor? Mito asked one of the undead knights. We do not know. We disappear shortly after the king's death. The knight told Mito. Wanting to be helped Mito out and not be useless before his lover's grandmother's eyes. The young Uzumaki spoke up. Does anyone know where the assassin went? He asked the knight. There has been word of seeing an undead across the land of the dead. Cross from the desert of the rot there a prison where those who pose a threat to the king are held. The knight told Naruto. A prison, huh? Naruto closed his eyes to think. Can you bring us 2 horses that travel as far I dare not teleport to lands we're not familiar with? Mito asked the knight. The knight bowed his head and walked off. Naruto, meet me outside of the kingdom, there's something I must look into. Mito told him. You're not with this kingdom, but yet this worries you so. He smiled. True. Death I serve now, but I've the king long before. This kingdom is very important no matter who I serve now. Both nod their head to one another before slipping up. Outside waiting for Mito to arrive with the horses, alone he was outside the kingdom of the dead. So you are little soul that death has chosen. A calm unknown voice spoke. Naruto looked around to see where the voice was coming from. To be honest, I thought you looked more demonic from the tales I've heard. Floating behind Naruto was a large demon with 2 horns as the right horn looked broken. He wore a dark blue robe. He appeared to have no legs. His face had a skeleton-like feature. His hands were bony for a demon. The floating demon floated in front of Naruto to greet the young Uzumaki. Who are you? Naruto glared at the demon. Whoa, calm yourself, young one. I am simply a humble merchant. I see you and the fair lady will soon depart these lands into the desert of rot. Be warned, those lands are dangerous, only the strong can survive. If you wish to seek the king's assassin, you will find the assassin there. The demon merchant said. Why tell me this? He stared at the demon. To help the kingdom, of course, a place where the souls of the dead lives. Surely I will be rewarded for aiding you, yes. Ah yes, forgive me, I hadn't introduced myself. Vulgrim the demon merchant. Mito spoke behind Naruto. Naruto and Vulgrim looked to see Mito was riding on an undead horse. She brought a second undead horse for Naruto. Naruto, let's go. I thank you for proving the rumors are true, Vulgrim. I am sure when we return you will be greatly rewarded. But until then, stay out of the kingdom's walls. Mito glared at the demon merchant. The prison is hidden within a stone golem. Vulgrim said before he teleported away. Desert of Rot. Once the 2 arrived at the Desert of Rot, they came across what appears to be a giant stone golem. The giant stone golem was down on its knees, however the stone golem was dead. Its stomach was cracked open, it appears has been opened from within. Wonder what killed it? Naruto wonders. Let go inside, Mito said. Before Naruto and Mito journey inside the stone golem, Naruto felt an ill feeling in the air. He wasn't sure what it was though. But suddenly Mito gasped. She turned to face Naruto only to tackle him to the floor. Mito's were pressed against Naruto's face. Mito-sama, what are you doing? Naruto blushed. Out came from the stone golem's stomach was giant claw. Whoa, Naruto said with widened eyes. Mito got off Naruto, as the 2 ready to face what seemed to kill the giant stone golem. Another claw came out from the stone golem's stomach. Both Naruto's and Mito's mouth hang open to what they saw came from the giant golem's stomach. It was a giant gray wolf. The wolf's amber eyes was fueled with angry. A giant wolf? Are you serious? What kind of prison is this? He asked Mito. I don't know. I served the king for years and I never knew of this prison or what it held. She told him. The 2 kept their guard up as the giant wolf stared at them for over 4 minutes. The giant wolf suddenly held its head up as if someone was calling it. The giant wolf looked at Mito and Naruto for a moment before turning away to enter the golem's stomach. I think it wants us to follow it. He said to Mito. But we should be carefully. She told him. Inside the stone golem. Following the giant wolf within the stone golem. Within the stone golem it shifts differently as within the giant golem it was huge. There were many empty prison cells, however when the 2 Uzumakis went past a giant cage, the cages bust wide open. Guess this must be the wolf's cage. They thought together. Then they came across a room that had prisoners within. A voice spoke which surprised the 2 Uzumakis. Sif, did you bring help? The male's voice spoke. The Uzumakis came across the first cell. There they saw a very tall man in silver set of knight armor. He wore a blue scruff around his neck. His face was hidden underneath his helmet hood and his scruff. Ah, good Sif. The knight noticed them. Who are you? Naruto asked the knight. Wait, there's more than one. Mito noticed as she saw there was about at least 13 cells, each cell had a pair of hands gripping the bars. What are you people here? Naruto asked the knight. We were brought here because neither of us bow to the king's rule. The knight told Naruto. Why is that? He asked. It's easy to read. They serve another king. Mito said. Not all of us. They're a few from another land. The knight told them. How long, all of you been imprisoned here? Naruto asked the knight. I do not know. It seems like forever we have been held within these cells. He told Naruto. Naruto looked at Mito, as the elder Uzumaki gave a big nod. Seem like they are innocent, but where could the assassin be? She wondered. Assassin. The prisoners shouted with together. The king has been assassinated. We are here to find out who the assassin was. Mito told them. If the fool of a king is no longer on the throne, we are free to go. Another male's voice spoke. Ornstein, even if he imprisons us here, there's no need to speak ill of any king. A woman's voice spoke. There must be a key to unlock these cells. Ornstein spoke. Mito noticed a large leveler behind her. When she looked back, Ornstein burst out with a thunder voice. Pull it. Set us free. He demanded. Shouting will get you nowhere, knight. Mito said to Ornstein. Neither of you will be free unless you do one thing and one alone. She told them all. There was a long pause within the cell hall. What would you have us to do? A second woman's voice spoke. You all will be free. But you must come with us to the kingdom of the dead to prove your innocence. There were rumors the assassin feed to these lands, and only this place can be found within the desert of Rot. Mito told them all. Prove our innocence, huh? How so? We're imprisoned who no long? Ornstein said with unpleased tone. Mito, I have a better idea. Naruto spoke up. Really? Naruto. Mito looked at him with a worry look. Like what Mito-sama said, but you will be given a right of becoming the kingdom's new protectors, but only if you swear your loyalty to us. Neither of us serve the Lord of Bones. He told them. Serve you? Ha ha ha, I rather be smashed by Smog's hammer. Ornstein laughed. No disrespect, young one, but we serve Lord Gwyn, our king and lord to no end. The knight in the first cell told Naruto. Where's your king then? You have no idea how long all of you were imprisoned. Time is different here in the world of the dead. I too was alive once, back then I was by a foolish child to many. Giving my life to save a loved one, I do not know has she fallen in love with someone else or she's here now as undead. Naruto sighed. You're dead, why keep your loyalty to someone even in death? He asked them. Mito placed her right hand on his shoulder. He sighed and gave a nod to Mito. But I know where you knights are coming from. I do serve a lord, but rather a king. I serve a powerful queen. Yes, a queen whom I gave my life to and would do it again. If you will not serve us, here or now, serve me as an end to the chaos within the kingdom of the dead. What is a king without his people, and what is a kingdom without its king? He asked them. It seems we are in a corner we cannot escape, my friends. Though we serve Lord Gwyn without question, the young one is right. It's time for us to make a choice. To remain in our prison or leave with these two kind souls. An older male's voice spoke from one of the cell downer. Goff has a point. A woman spoke in the dark. I wish to help if means to help others. A woman's voice spoke. If that is Milady's wish, then I shall obey her wish. A fourth male spoke. If my brother goes, I will go as well. A third woman was heard. Mito looked at Naruto as the young Uzumaki gave a nod. Mito pulled the leveler as the every cell opened. Naruto and Mito left the cell hall and exit the stone golem, waiting for their new allies outside. The first to come out from the golem's stomach was the giant gray wolf, but riding on top of the giant wolf was the first knight they encounter. The second person was a woman. She wore dark blue clothes, she'd wear black boots, and on her face was a silver-colored mask. She had long blonde lock ponytail. The third person was a tall man who just a tall at the first knight. Like the first knight, the third person was a knight as well. He wore yellow armor from head to toe. He wore a golden lion helm. From the back of his helm was long red hair. The fourth person was a very big person. He was a giant. He was twice the size of the two knights, wearing a large helmet on his head, while his armor was made from a bone subjects. The fifth and sixth persons were actually group of 10 people, they're 5 different group of knights. The knight helmets had long pointy horns. One group was 5 silver knight, as each one of them held a different weapon as such, sword, spear and large bow. The second group of 5 was black knights. The black knights had a sword, a great sword, large axe and a halberd. Both knights were armed with a shield that matches the color of their armor. The seventh person was a woman. She wore a white robe along with a hood that covered her head and nearly her face from everyone's sight. She was accompanied by a knight. The knight armor was darkest green, he held a big shield while carrying a giant iron hammer. Behind the woman and her knight was another woman. Her hair was reddish-orange, her eyes were brown. She wore a dull-holed helmet, wore gold armor along with pair of gauntlets that went with her gold legging. Before we leave this place, I want to know your names. The lady that accompanied me is Mito Uzumaki. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, now tell me yours. Naruto said to them. I am Artorias the Abysswalker. And the giant wolf is my companion Sif. The knight said his name and title. Sif the giant wolf only stare at the Uzumakis before Sif lower his head to them. Lord's Blade Kirin. The masked woman spoke. Hawkeye Goff. The armored giant spoke. Dragonslayer Ornstein. The knight in gold said. We are the 4 knights of Lord Gwyn. The 4 knights said together. I am Selen Vinland. The woman in gold armor spoke her name. I am Garl Vinland, and this is Lady Maiden Estrella. The dark green knight introduced himself and his fair lady. As Maiden Estrella looked at the 2 Uzumakis before she bowed her head to them. Naruto looked at the silver and black knights as the group of silver and black remained silent as corpses. They have no voices to call their own. They follow our commands and the commands of Lord Gwyn. They are knights, they do only the king and higher knight asked of them. Artorias told Naruto. I serve the Lord of Bones for a long while. I am the closest thing to a ruler of the kingdom of the dead. You will follow my orders, my voice shall be the will you will carry. Do you understand? Mito said to the silver and black knights. The silver and black knights stood still. I said, do you understand? She yelled at them. The silver and black knights quickly bowed down on one knee before Mito. Isn't she a naturally leader? Selen said with a small smile. Yes, yes she is. She was the wife of the leader of my home village. Naruto looked at Mito with a smile, as the elder Uzumaki smiled back at her granddaughter's lover. Now come with us, we shall bring order to the chaos. Both Naruto and Mito entered their Reaper form, and with a quick swift of their cloaks the freed prisoners vanished. Do you believe they will be of help, Naruto? Mito asked Naruto as she felt unsure of this. I think they can. They've been imprisoned, I doubt the assassin is one of them. But I can't help but feel a great despair cast over every one of them. Especially Artorias and Maiden Estrella. Artorias, I feel a deep guilt of failure, and Estrella feel nothing but the pain of betrayal and endless sorrow. The young man shook his head. What they suffer in life they carried into the afterlife, much like you were. If they are judged it could lift the burden on them. She told him. Maybe, but maybe I can help them move on. But I do feel that each of them can help us. He chuckled suddenly. What are you planning? She stared. The Lord of Bones is gone. I doubt there's anyone of his blood to take his place. The kingdom of the dead is too dark. Everywhere I step suffering and despair leaks with every step. Maybe we can make this land better. Maybe. Naruto, maybe. She stared at him, not sure what his plans were. Suddenly a scroll appeared before Mito. Opening the scroll she read who was on the list of the soul to claim. A new list of the dead whose soul we need to bring here. Tell me, Mito, who's on the list? He crossed his arms. Mito closed the scroll. She closed her eyes as she let out a deep sigh. She turned her attention to Naruto. It can wait, for now. Let's rebuild the kingdom into a better place. The two teleported to the kingdom of the dead. The death list scroll was dropped to the ground. As the sand slowly covered the scroll, on the scroll a name was shown before it was consumed in the desert's sand. Tsunade Senju.